There you go.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy
Hello.
Mischief Monday.
Hello.
What's going on? Gabe's here. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Happy Memorial Day. I hope all you guys are having a good day today. And let's remember all the military and all the fallen. Yes. So how y'all doing tonight? Gabe's my guest tonight. We're going to talk about law.
Don't disappoint them like that. I'm not, folks.
We're going to talk about some law with Gabe.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I get Phyllis, but okay. Hi, Bonnie, Connie, Doreen, George. I'm just going to say hi to everybody tonight. Sally, hi. Thank you so much for your super chat. Can anybody guess who our guest is tonight?
I'll give you two
Happy Monday. Oh, right. Love Boat. They're saying hi. And yes, I already know what the hell's going on over there with the war thing. Whatever. She can just keep spewing. Apparently, she's, smoke's coming out of her. I didn't hear a damn thing. I heard what people are sending me. I could care less.
So it's like she's
like begging for super chats and research people to come and tell her, information. It's like if you can't figure out your information, you have to call on the chat, to like do that kind of dirty work. You know what I mean? Like that's just wrong. I mean, I know people send this information all the time, but the way she's doing it, and apparently she's like real foul mouthed, like she's pissed. But how about it? I don't care. I didn't do her wrong as far as the doxing or any of the crap that she's talking about. And quite frankly, I think if she contacts authorities, they're gonna find out that they already know about her. So her and the rest of those minions. Anyhow, so who do we think the guest is tonight?
Oh,
are they all saying hi to you?
Well, they were.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut them off? Hey, Nine Chins, Scampy Girl, Noreen, Sheena, Bonnie. I'm so used to saying everybody's names. Kim Chaz, what's going on? I thought Mega Umbrella Boy was gonna cry on there. Oh my god. Oh, well, I don't even care. Bruce, they think it's Bruce.
Bruce.
That's a possibility. Little Bit says, I want Leslie. Everything's Richard, Bruce. Bruce. I want Leslie. That was cute. I'm guessing it's me. Send me a link. Well, I think that a lot of people aren't guessing this person because they don't expect this person to be here. So I'm just going to bring him on. And I hope we have some fun with that. I don't know. What do you think? Should I just bring him on? Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people will be happy to see.
And I'll put my 2 cents into the chat.
Yeah.
I won't interrupt you.
Oh, you want to interrupt?
No.
Yeah, no?
No, I won't.
Okay. All right, guys. So here we go. I'm going to bring him on. Ready? What's up, Leslie?
Hey, girl. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. It's been a nice
Are you good? Where you been?
Oh God. Yeah. I when there's like a lot of negativity, I just vanish. I vanish. It's kind of like a, you know what I mean? Like a protection.
Yeah. They're all excited in the chat. Yes, Leslie.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I had a rough week. It wasn't fun, but yeah, I vanished, I have to sometimes, just to keep my sanity, so.
Right. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like the way I look at it, it's like a virus, and it's like you have this negative virus that's infiltrating so many aspects of your life. And the only way to really just like get rid of it is just cut it. Like, it's like you don't put any fuel to the fire. You just cut it out, So
Right. Yeah. So I'm just going to cut it down to the chase. I mean, all this crap, let them spew, because that's what they're doing is spewing. So you are a retired lawyer.
Yes, I'm a retired lawyer. That's all there is to say. I mean,
there's nothing else to it.
I was laughing. I was like, my God, I'm like, who would have thought doing an interview at someone's request would have turned into my life going on trial for the world, you know? I mean,
right?
It's like, geez Louise. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, I'm sure everybody's got things in their past. I mean, you know what I mean? Simply
we all do.
Having your life exploited as if you're on trial for your own, you know, personal whatever. I mean, it's
right,
crazy.
Yeah,
but I guess.
But you know, you see how that worked, and how vicious it is. And but you know what? Let him spew. Let him spew.
I have this one. I have kind of something I have to remind myself because it's something I tell my kids or I tell my my close friends and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you know, people give advice or people criticize unsolicited all the time. And, you know, my theory has always been, although, and I need to remind myself of this, is you consider the source, because to me, I don't care what somebody thinks of me that I don't respect. And in order for me to respect somebody, it takes me time to get to know that person, you know, to gain a level of respect. So realistically, the only people that really matter, you know, as far as what they have to say about me is people that I have had rapport with and that I have grown to know and respect as a human being. And they would be the only ones that would really care about what they think of me, and everybody else, I don't care. So, I mean, I have to remind myself of that because we're all human, you know, so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. So, all right. So, what are we gonna talk about tonight? Because we're not gonna talk about this bullshit. We're just gonna.
I can talk. You know, I want to say something. It was kind of going through my mind, and I think I slightly.
Kim Shu said. She said, "Thank you for coming back, Leslie."
Thank you for being inviting. Trust me, I appreciate the ones that are supportive. I really do. So thank you guys for that. You know, and I'm not here tonight, and I told Lisa I'm not here to bring up or talk about specific people that, you know what I'm saying? I just am not here to do that. But I am here, you know, to talk about, you know, cool, you know, like, I guess things. One of the things I wanted to talk about was strategy in law, because one thing that people don't understand, it's, and I'll say it like this. When we were in law school, we had to take a class called motions and depositions. And I remember I was telling you about this, Lisa. I had this Italian professor come in. He was probably in his 70s, and he slaps down on our desk, each one of our, because we had like these desks that we would sit in. He slaps down a motion, and it was completely grammatically incorrect. The whole thing was just, it looked like a second grader wrote it. And he says to us, "What do you think of this? Do you think this is a good motion or not?" And of course, the whole class is like, "Oh, this is an awful motion." You know, I mean, it's grammatically incorrect. And then he stops and he goes, "Or is it?" Right? And everyone's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Strategy." He goes, "Law is like a game of chess." And he goes, "You never let your opponent know where you stand or what you're about, you know." And then I had a mentor as well. He was board certified as a family law attorney. He was absolutely brilliant. And the first year that I practiced law, he mentored me, and he would come on to cases with me, and, you know, he would basically train me. It was the best training I could have ever, you know, ever desired. But anyways, I said to him, I go, his name was John. I go, "John, I go, can I build you a website?" I go, "People need to know how good you are. You know, what a great attorney you are." I said, "We need to get your biography. You know, we need to get your, you know, your credentials that you're board certified." And he goes, "Oh no, Leslie." He goes, "Absolutely not." He goes, "I don't want anyone knowing a thing about me." And I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Because," he goes, "when they think that I'm not that good," and he goes, "and then they don't prepare as much, and they get trial with me, they have something coming for them." And I was like, you know, he's very wise, you know, because, you know, people do things all the time strategically. You know, and for instance, like I was telling you, Lisa, and I don't mind disclosing this, when I retired my license, we went through financial difficulties. I mean, there's no joke. Everybody, I'm sure, has endured financial difficulties, and both of our homes went into foreclosure. And a lot of that was because I was the breadwinner of my family at that time, because my husband, we have, you know, kids, and my husband was handling the kids more, and I was working. And so when we didn't have my income coming in, it became really difficult on the family. So what I learned is when you file a divorce, the laws of equitable distribution kick in, meaning if a creditor's after your spouse, they can't touch you and your portion of
Right.
the assets. So I filed divorce. Not because I want to divorce my husband, but because I want to protect my equitable distribution.
Right.
And we're resolving everything now, thank God. But you know what I'm saying? These are things that, if someone say were to do a background check on me and they'd say, oh God, she's going through divorce. They're going to assume I'm going through this blood battle divorce, where
Right.
I'm saying it's not, life isn't what it presents all the time. You got
exactly. Even in a public record.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things too. Like when I was going through, and I don't mind this because this is all public record, but when I was going through some situations when I was practicing law, I had a horrendous situation happen with a former employee, and then she got with my opponent counsel, who hated me. And it was just it was wartime. It was horrible. And he happened to be the one attorney that he hated me because I won against him in multiple trials. And he happened to be affiliated with the bar. And so all of his friends worked at the bar. And of course, they have, it's like with the prosecutor, they have the discretion as to whether or not they want to prosecute you. Well, if he was working with the bar and he had friends with the bar, of course, and then he files a bar complaint, of course, he's going to make damn sure that they look into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But my point, shoot, now I just forgot. I totally lost my train of thought, but it was a good, it was a good train of thought, Lisa. I'm trying to think what I was going to shoot, man. I'm sorry. I'm my mind just, it's late. So I apologize.
No, I know it is late at night. Lisa from Desert Dragon Ward said she read your book and she thinks everyone should. She loved it. You go.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. Is it Desert Dragon Works?
Desert Dragon Works. Yeah.
Oh my God. You're the sweetest. That you have no idea how much that means to me because, I think so many times, and I know in my life, I don't know about you guys, but I know that I've always wanted to feel validated. And a lot of it comes from not feeling validated most of my life. I think social media was, has been great for a lot of people, to feel like they're being heard or, their messages out there. But I wrote that book. That's my soul. That's my life. And I'm so happy that you read it. That makes me, because you understand me now. You understand what I went through. Oh my God. Thank you. Yeah, no, but that was, where can they find it? Because a lot of people are asking where they can find it. It was, and I'm sorry, I apologize for, you guys are going to laugh. I'll be straight up with you. So when I wrote the book, I didn't have money for an editor. So I went to AI and I said, can you make the stylization a little more like Edgar Allan Poe? Don't ask me why I said that. And so it made it a little too fluffy for me, a little too and so then I came back and I had to redo it, but there's still some of that fluff in there. So it doesn't read as authentic sometimes. That's why I was oh man, but at least you get the story. But anyways, you can get it on Amazon and I go under the alias, it's E.G. Alexander. It's my, my kid's initials. So E.G. Alexander. And it's called Lawyers versus the People. It is true, the lawyers versus the people. But I mean, it's really true. It really is true. I mean, I never considered myself, even because I didn't go to law school till later in life because the system failed me. I told you guys this before. The system failed me in my 30s. I never even wanted to be a lawyer, to be honest with you. I was an artist and I owned a dance studio. That's why I'm a little eccentric. I'm not your mainstream looking lawyer, but but anyways, I decided to go. You
love the little forays into poetry.
Oh, you like it? So I'm so glad you like it. Thank you. Oh my gosh! And you know what? I have to tell you guys, this is really exciting for me. So I think you've got a lot of listeners from the UK. By the way, I love the UK. I don't know if you're from the UK, but anyways, I did my DNA test. You know how you can do your DNA, and I found out that I'm 40% Scottish, and I'm the rest English, Welsh, English, and then I'm 6% Italian and 6% Greek.
Oh wow!
Wow. Yeah, but I always I just love I do accents too, and I do the English accent. But the people from England would probably laugh if they heard me try to replicate their accent.
I do it too, but I wouldn't dare, knowing I had the people from the UK listening to me. I'm like, no, because I am not good at it.
Well, I mean, can I do it? Lisa, do you remember the Fig Newton commercials when we were kids?
Yeah.
Okay, can I do it?
Go ahead.
Okay, and listen, please, from the UK, please, like, don't laugh at me, because one of my good friends, Becky, she's from the UK, and she's like, Leslie, you sound like some theatrical, like, British old lady. But anyways, I go, honey, have you been eating cookies in bed? It's not a cookie, mother. It's a fruit and eaten. Oh, carry on then, carry on. You know what I'm saying, Lisa? I don't know if I sound, like I'm from England or not, but I love the accent very much so.
I do. I can't do it though. Gabe says, like, I'll say something. And he goes, I don't even know what it is. It's not the same saying all the time. It's the way you say it. You just throw this like UK spin on it. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. And then I caught myself doing it. I'm like, I don't know why I do that. It just pops out of nowhere. It's like whatever. Yeah. I think it's not what I'm saying. I'm going to say that whatever it is, I'm going to say it the same way I always say it, and that throws the English accent on it. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know.
Oh my God, no! I used to dress my son. I have a son, George, and I used to dress him in the clothes like the princess, like little George, like that she did. You know what I mean? When she first had her son. And I used to do the bobby socks, and I would do the butterfly collars. No, I have.
Thank you so much. I don't think I didn't see that. Thank you so much.
No, but I figured if anybody I think will like the style, and that's I don't know if the sweet lady that read the book, if she's from England or not, but I figured if anybody's going to like the style, it's probably going to be more someone from the UK, because it's a little more like poetic. You know what I mean? It's not like it's written a little more. You know what I'm saying? It's not what you hear in America all the time. So
it's lawyers versus the people.
Yes, the lawyers versus the people. Yeah. And it was funny because I was actually interviewed from Buzz. What's it called? Buzz something. You remember it's a publication.
Buzz. Yeah.
Somebody from the UK, they were intrigued with the United States guardianship system, and they knew that I was one of the only attorneys getting people out. So I had to meet with somebody from that Buzz, whatever that period publication, like weekly, from the UK, because they were doing an article. So that was pretty cool.
So let me ask you this, as far as these guardianship cases, right?
Yeah.
So because everybody knows about like Britney Spears. Yeah. Okay. Or they're, somewhat familiar, or they heard about it. So how would you describe that entire scenario?
Oh God, you guys don't even, you wouldn't even believe what goes on in the United States if you had any idea. First of all, you think that, you can spend your entire life, acquiring an estate, and you hope to leave it to your kids, or, give it inheritance rights to somebody you love or whatnot.
Right.
What they do in guardianships, and especially in Florida, because you have so many retarees here, is somebody will file a petition, like Wendy Williams, the African American lady up in New York. They just put her into a guardianship too. But in the bank did it, which is crazy. She went into the bank and they filed.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. How does a bank do that?
Yeah. Well, the bank, see, what happens is once somebody goes into a guardianship, you guys got to understand, the court appoints their own examination committee. So the examination committee is only required to have one doctor. And mind you, I'm not giving anyone legal advice. I'm just telling you my experience as a lawyer and knowing the laws and stuff. But they are only required to have one doctor, and then the other two can be a social service person. And they each of them spend 15 minutes with a person to determine whether or not they have capacity or not. And nine times out of 10, they will deem you incapacitated, because once you're deemed incapacitated and say that the state appoints you a guardian, you no longer have decision-making rights anymore. You can't vote anymore. You can't divorce. You can't marry. You can't sign a contract. You can't fire your attorney. You have less rights than a criminal. And then what they do is they start applying for Social Security, and they start applying for just different, federal funding. Then what they do is they'll move you out of your homestead property. They'll sell your homestead under value. This happens all the time. And then they will move you into a nursing home, and they'll drug you. And a lot of the reason they can get away with this is because the pharmaceutical companies, the assisted living facilities, they push a lot of money, into lobbying with the governor of the state. And it's all, once someone's in a guardianship, they basically can increase the federal funding coming into the state, and then they can decide where that money's going, all under under the guise that the person is incapacitated. Wow. I've had an engineer, I had a doctor that was in their 50s that I represented that were put wrongfully into guardianships. And then the thing is that the attorneys, once you're in a guardianship, there's 2 attorneys that are mandated to be able to collect on your estate. So every 3 months, they'll put in a fee petition. This one woman who was a doctor, they billed her estate over $190,000 in 9 months. Just the attorneys.
Dang. Oh,
and then I got her out of the guardianship. By the time she got out of the guardianship, her entire estate was diminished. She had nothing. She was homeless, and she had to move back to New York to go be where her family was, bury her parents and stuff, because she had nothing at that point. They took everything. And that's just small. That's shouldn't why they
shouldn't they have to repay it back somehow?
No.
She can't sue them?
No, that's what we have a big case right now, because I told you guys I work behind the scenes now with my husband. Yeah. We have a big case. It's a RICO case up in the northern panhandle of the federal court. And we're trying to shed light. Yeah. We're trying to shed light on the criminal enterprise that really is going on with these guardianship cases. But what they'll do too is anytime a family member questions what's going on, they start to build a case against the family member, and they say that the family member is causing disruption with the ward, because once you're determined to be incapacitated, you're now labeled as a ward. So the family member will now get an they'll get an injunction where the family member can't even visit with their parent anymore. Happens.
Wow. And that's pretty much what happened to Wendy Williams, right? Because like our kids weren't.
Well, there's this. Remember how I always tell you be careful of making fun of disbarred attorneys, because there was this one lady. Her name is Barbara. Now she was a little nutty. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when I say that, like, not in a mean way, but like she's a little very very eccentric. Nutty is not about. I mean, I don't want that type of negative connotation. But anyways, she tried to save her mom from a guardianship, and her mom was dying in an assisted living facility. And so she picked her mom up, brought her mom out of the assisted living facility to bring her home so she could take care of her mother. And they arrested her with kidnapping, and they disbarred her over it because it was a felony charge.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah. So when you're fighting with these cases, the people that are like involved in let's just say the person that has the guardianship, right? Yeah. They're mainly lawyers, right?
Well, yeah, the people that run the whole show are the lawyers. They're the ones that are profiting. See, what happened was I always had a heart for the disabled, and I always had a heart for those that were suffering from mental illness. So when I was in law school, because I told you guys I went later in law school, I started it was called Legal Advocates for Citizens with Disabilities, and I was trying to reform the institutionalization of those that were, considered disabled, whether it was a silent disability or a physical disability, that was visible.
Right.
And so because of that, I ended up getting into this arena, not knowing what I was getting into. And I took these cases pro bono. So I didn't charge for these cases. I was doing them for free because it's what I stood for. Do you understand?
Right. Yeah.
And so, but the problem is that the attorneys that I went up against, they were making a lot of money from this. So every time I freed a ward, I got a brand new set of enemies. If you can imagine.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like going up against them, you're taking their money away.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You always gotta trace the money. The best piece of advice I could give anybody when you're trying to decipher, like even in politics, you try to think, okay, well, what side of the fence am I going to be on if I have to pick a side, or what do I stand for? Who am I going to support? Even in this situation, what's going on, right?
Right.
You always got to trace the money, because 9 times out of 10, there's financial incentives behind certain things. Okay.
Right.
And so when you look at, like the situation with guardianships, it's very apparent, when I started to get attacked, I was not making money from this. Okay. I was doing this pro bono, and these attorneys that were attacking me were making a lot of money from this. So every single time I freed a ward, they lost money. Who do you think was filing the bar complaints against me?
I was just going to say, is that who you found filing these bar complaints against you?
Yes, they and this was during COVID. So I was going around the state of Florida. I had cases in almost every county in the state of Florida. I was flying to the Panhandle. I was flying down to Miami because I was the only attorney that was freeing these people. And they said, oh, Leslie, be careful. It's career suicide. And I'm like, well, how can this be career suicide when I'm not doing anything wrong? I'm helping people, right? That's my mentality. Right? Well, apparently now I understand why it's career suicide, because the rich and the powerful, they were certainly going to silence me. Do you understand?
Right. Yeah.
Because you guys got to understand, I didn't go to law school to make money. I was not a 22-year-old, coming from this wealthy family who, groomed me to go become a lawyer so I could make a bunch of money. That was not my story. Okay. Mm-hmm. I became a lawyer to change the system, to be the voice of the people. We'll realize that in my book if you read it. But, and so that was something, that was hard for a lot of people to understand. And even the ones that are attacking me right now, they don't know my story. They don't know what I stood for. It's like, you can go on the internet all you want. You're going to get a lot of people that did not like me. I'll tell you that right now. There was a lot of people that did not like me. But, Winston Churchill once, I think he goes, got enemies? Good. That means you stood for something in your life.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense as to why, some of the things were said, but I don't even care. To me, it's like, so next, like these people are just spewing things, and they do it about me all the time. I mean, I can't even tell. I'll get like a screenshot of something. I'm like, where on earth did they even get this idea from? It's crazy, I said something the other night. Next thing you know, you deleted 6 seconds or something. And I'm like, I deleted it out of common courtesy because I saw this person was upset about it. Yeah. And to me, it was a no big deal thing because, they've been talking about it for however long.
Lisa, you can't, you're never going to change the opinions of some of these people. You're never going to change. And I'm going to say this right now. I've considered myself a pretty good judge of character. And I went into this, completely neutral, not knowing who I was going to meet. I didn't know who stood for what. And I'll say you've been nothing but an amazing individual. I'm just going to tell you, you're never going to get these people to treat you in a normal capacity, nor am I. Yeah. We aren't. We just aren't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're always. Yeah,
I just want to say, I wasn't trying to do that, even though, I feel like, hello, we should all be adults here. But I saw how, because I was recording this thing. So I don't think I even told you this, but anyway, I was recording a video for documentation purposes, and I had mentioned a town that someone lives in. Big deal, because on their LinkedIn they say they're from a town, a city that's just a little north of them. So it's basically the same thing. So anyway, I thought it was known, and because someone said in the chat, they mentioned the town. I said, yeah, that's where they live. So that was it, right? And I joked about
what is doxing? Is that what you're talking about when they said that you were
doxing? They said I was doxing. Yeah.
What is doxing? I don't even know what that is. Like
when you're giving out personal information or people's addresses and stuff, and you're doing it maliciously, and and that's definitely not what would happen, right? But and I knew I didn't give out anybody's address or anything. So and I was listening to what's going on, and they this girl. I'm just not going to mention her name while you're here, but she disappeared and came back and said, yes, they did dox her. And I'm like, huh? They did? And I know they're talking about me. So I'm like, all right. So when it was done, I went back and I looked. I'm like, are you serious? like, okay.
You know, and you gotta think about this too, because even with me when I first came into this to do the interview, I'm new to all this, okay? And I don't like when somebody comes up and they want to share a screen and they want to share a video, I'm not really knowing, like I'm the last thing I'm expecting is it to be something like like what was shared with me.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I did, you know, not, you know, like I said, I was accused now of, you know, publishing revenge porn, and that was never my intention.
Which is not what that is. You know, if you look up what the definition of revenge porn, that's not what that is.
It's not revenge porn, but either way, it's not something I could have ever expected. And
right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
well, not to mention, you didn't even know, like, I can't, okay, because based on some of the questions that you asked me, I can't imagine what your face might have been like if I said,
you should
go back to that video and click on editor and click trim and cut with all the other things you could do. And then these bars, you probably would have been like, yeah, like what? You know what I mean? And it was what, 2 or 3 days or whatever, and then it was gone. Well, so I don't understand why they're still bitching about it.
I just deleted my whole channel, and it's unfortunate. I really was excited, but at the same point, I'm not here to exploit my life. I'm not here to you know, have a war where I have to dodge bullets every 2 seconds. I mean, that's why I just deleted everything, because I'm like, it's not worth it to me. It's like, it'd have been nice.
That's why I don't watch it. I don't watch this stuff. I watched last week because I was documenting what was being done to you.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. You're in a totally different situation than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have a channel, it's an established channel. Like, no, like absolutely you got to do, you know what I mean? You're handling it the best that you could possibly handle it, honestly. But, you know, in my circumstance, you know, I didn't really have a channel. I wasn't looking to have a channel. And all of a sudden I started having followers. You know what I'm saying? And I, you know what I mean? I would have loved to have continued with it, but at the same point, I'm not, it was just so there's so many negative comments that came up that I'm just like, I understand it comes with the territory, but it was hard. It was a full blown attack, not just 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, I was surprised. Yeah.
Because see, with me, they've been doing this to me for months, right? But it's been like a slowly, gradually thing. You know, it's not. But they went at you like blazing hard. I'm like, holy
I'm
shit.
like, what the heck? What did I?
Yeah,
like,
they did. They really did. I mean, I know we warned you, but we did not expect that.
No,
not that hard, not like that. Yeah, it was vicious.
It was very vicious. And you know, even my clients, like even my client yesterday, I spoke to a client. He's like, oh God, Leslie. He goes, I feel so bad for you. He goes, I remember what happened to you in 2023. And he goes, and I thought that crap was over with. And he goes, I was on social media the other day and I saw more crap started about you again. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, I'm sitting here going, what exactly did I do? Like, what did I do to warrant this? Yeah. I mean, I didn't ask for my life to be on a trial. This isn't about me. This is just me coming in, doing a little interview and just investigating into a situation. And you know, that's all I was doing. I'm not asking to be elected president. I'm not asking to be elected a politician. I'm not asking, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if I was putting myself out there, I guess in that capacity where I'm asking you to elect me for some position, then go ahead and research all you want. But my God, all I was doing was entertaining an interview.
Now I know. I'm telling you, they, you know, I was quite surprised. I felt bad, and that's why I made sure I went and I got everything.
Yeah, thanks, girl. I appreciate it. No, you've been amazing, Lisa. You've been truly amazing, and I appreciate that.
I felt bad. I was just like, man, you know, like I get it. I get it. You know, it sucks when people are making shit up about you and then like putting it out to the world, and then they think they have a glimpse of truth because they have this piece of paper in front of them that says something, and it doesn't mean what they're reading or how they're saying.
And you got to figure this too. Again, these are things that I just have to keep reminding myself, because these are things that I would tell my own kids and my friends. Anybody that's so quick to listen to it, so quick to believe it, is somebody you don't want as somebody in your field anyways. Like, you don't want them in your zone, right? Because if they're that easily, you know, ready to, you know, because I think what happens is people, and I think we've all done it. I've done it myself. I mean, none of us are perfect. I think sometimes when we're not so happy in our life, sometimes we want to find fault in other people, right? Because it gets us off of our own lives. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm just looking at a question. Leslie, have you or do you know anyone who has taken Scientology and all the abuses they do in a cult, both in Clearwater, Florida, and California? Protesters in LA have been protesting. Oh, you're talking about cults. So I don't know anything about Scientology, but I do know a little bit about cults. And this reminds me, it's actually a good question, Prairie. Lisa, remember I told you I saw this, and you guys should watch it if you haven't. It's on Netflix. It's a TikTok. It's called Dancing for the Devil, and it was a TikTok cult. Okay, but it went all the way to California to some guy named something like Robert Chin or something, and he had some like church, but it became a cult. And he originally had just Koreans because he's Korean, but then he ended up targeting like people in their 20s that do TikToks that were like dancers on TikTok, and he formed this cult. And then he was like sexually abusing the women. It was horrible. Like, you guys gotta watch that documentary. I watched the whole thing yesterday. I was like on the floor over it.
And it's called what? TikTok?
It's called Dancing for the Devil.
And it's a TikTok cult?
Well, it's part of it's a TikTok cult, but it was really target like this Robert Chin is the one who he's had his church for a while, but he basically made it like he was so great, and they called him a false prophet too. Like he made it sound like if you could be in a room with him for a moment, you were like, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to you. Yeah, you said they're evil, basically a multi-level. Yeah, the Sea Org members signed a $1 billion contract.
Scientology's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it's you guys gotta figure like this. Anytime you have, I think, any organization where you've got somebody that's running it who thinks they're superior, like think about this. Okay, you want to just go to Christianity for a second. Jesus said he washed the feet of his disciples. He washed the feet like he was a servant to them, in the Last Supper, right? He washed their feet, right?
Right.
What does that say to you? That says that he clearly was a leader, but he wasn't the type of leader that ever made people feel that he was so beyond them. You know what I'm saying? That he was humble. He was humble. He wasn't power driven. He wasn't, trying to gain power and greed and control over people. And I think that, people need to really remind themselves, especially in this day and age, the type of leader Jesus was. And when you have an organization where you have, somebody that's at the top of the pyramid scheme, if you want to call it, that's exercising so much control and so much like pompous arrogance, like they're the best, they're better than anybody else, that they're better than another human being. You got to say to yourself, those were what they talk about in the Bible in the end times. Those are the false prophets. But so many people don't see that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, but that's how anytime. I mean, there's no reason for a human being, I don't care who the human being is, to ever act so pompous and arrogant and high on the hog over another human life ever. And I think that's number one when you're a part of an organization, especially a cult.
Right. Yeah. It's scary. Look, Scientology is pretty scary because they basically, they have a lot of elitists involved in there, and
could you imagine Katie Holmes and how that had to go down with Tom Cruise?
I'm glad she got out. I mean,
oh my
thank God.
Could you imagine trying to raise a child? Like,
oh God. Nicole Kidman, who got out, and then you have Katie. Now, Katie, though, I think she was with him and involved in a time where all this stuff is just becoming, it's coming to light more and more and more, just like the P. Diddy stuff, just like all these groups, all these hidden and secret groups like the Illuminati and all this stuff is like, there's more and more talk about it. Yeah. And then you had someone like Leah Remini come out and literally blow the lid off of Scientology,
Yeah.
And it's like, she left and she's trying to, because people are messed up from it. It's a complete brainwashing system.
Well,
You know?
yeah, absolutely. And it's a slippery slope, it's a slippery slope with some religions. It just is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard, I think, for people like, I know in the documentary I saw last night, they were like, these people like considered themselves smart and they felt taken once it came to the realization that they were in a cult and that they were being exploited pretty much. Like they didn't see it when it was happening,
Yeah.
And so that they felt ashamed after the whole thing was said and done. They're like, I can't believe I allowed myself to succumb to that, But I think sometimes, you want to believe that there's something so much better than what's in front of you. I
Yeah.
know, you know what I mean? It's like the whole God thing and everything. It's like you want to believe that like maybe you are talking to somebody who's in direct contact with God because it makes you feel more special. Maybe this earth is not as boring, you have more purpose or what.
And then you have these groups like some are like, I mean, all right, so you have Scientology. Scientology is more like the religion to me, or a religion to me. But like the things that go on in upper levels, it's like, the fall of the cabal. It's like these upper level things that nobody sees or even has a clue about. It's like they have all these main followers and they're doing these things, but these upper levels is where this crazy stuff happens, Well,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry. No, I want to.
No, the same with like the Illuminati, but to me, it's like they have different types of groups that are cult like too. Like you had with Nexium. Was it called Nexium or Nevium? Because you always see that logo, Nevium, Nexium.
Yeah.
How do you? Yeah. I'm not sure, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because you have groups like that, then, and it's all. But these sick groups where it all involves like sex trafficking and all this kind of crazy crap, But you have groups that don't do that, aren't involved like that, but still have that cult like following. Well, they'll do anything, even if it's just like promoting hatred.
Look at Charlie Manson. Okay.
Well,
the crazy part about that whole ordeal was, first of all, he preyed on vulnerable people and he made them feel part of something. Okay. He was a mass manipulator. Like he knew these people felt like they were lacking acceptance in their life and he made them feel accepted. He made them feel special. He made them feel what he called part of his family. He called them the family. Okay.
Yeah.
And
he radicalized them too.
Yeah. And then what does he do is he had such influence over these people. And he also told them he was the second coming of Christ. I don't know if you know this, but I researched into his life. He told people that he had a direct connection with God and that he was the second coming of Christ. And these people wanted to believe that they were so special that they were walking this earth with the second coming of Christ. And the next thing you know, he was able to get these people to commit murder while he stood there and did nothing. He didn't touch a human person, like anybody physically.
How is it that someone feels that I don't know how someone like that can just become so powerful that way?
I think it has everything. I think it's human nature. I think we as people want to feel I know especially when I've hit low points in my life, I want to feel special. I want to feel like my life means something, especially when I'm looking around and say my life doesn't equate to what I see around me. And I'm kind of feeling down on my life and maybe I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to. And maybe things aren't going well and my relationships are crumbling or whatever it is. Right. I'm vulnerable at that state. And then, it feels really good. I mean, think about this. Like, I know that even myself, like when I feel my lowest is sometimes when I really want to go to church. Right. And I want to feel happiness and part of something bigger. And I want to have somebody tell me that my life is so much more and there's a bigger purpose and that this happens for a reason and things are going to get better. And that's okay. But where it crosses the line is where they start to isolate, like the cult will isolate people from their loved ones. They will make it an us versus them type of mentality where we are an elite group. No, unless you're with us, you're against us and you're not part of us and you're not worthy. You're not even human. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? And that's where it crosses the line into a cult, in my belief.
Right. We have another guest here. Can anybody guess who that is? I bet you it's not who you think. Let's see. Oh, it's Bruce. Bruce, what's going on, Bruce?
Hey, what's happening? Hey, Leslie.
Hey.
I'm glad to see you, hear you.
Yes, thank you. I'm getting back out there a little bit. It was rough for me. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
What's going on, Bruce?
Lots of stuff actually. So I'm glad I could drop in. As you know, we have been trying very hard to find counsel in Florida, especially ever since I was withdrawn from the case,
Right.
and and then the judge issued an order denying appointed counsel, but putting out a notice that counsel was needed. But I don't think that anybody's responded to that. But
Right.
but Michelle Preston has been working hard, spending a lot of time, and so have I. And we found a firm, an enthusiastic, qualified law firm that's ready to step in. But the difference between trying, like for example, thankfully this community stepped up and helped me retire a couple of invoices, significant invoices that were incurred over the course of the litigation. And I guess I find that trying to get prospectively help raise a little money to help with this stuff is a little more difficult. But when you have a concrete, defined amount from an invoice with a particular vendor, for example, or attorney, then that's when it really, I think, appeals to people to step up and help. And that's where we're at now. Thankfully,
Right.
we have a law firm. The fee is $6,000, and that's been discussed, and they're going to be able to really handle everything in Florida. There's 4 things going on in Florida. There's the federal case.
You want to I was just going to say, can you mention that?
Yeah, well, there's the federal case, original federal case, the one that I was pro hoc vice counsel on, and I'm not anymore. Then there's the second one with all the 10 or 11, I guess now, defendants, and that includes Michelle. And the only claim in that case is against her. It's so detached, like from everything else, is that that when she brought her restraining order case in Florida State Court, which was then voluntarily withdrawn by her last September with Josh Silverman, that constituted a vexatious or a frivolous filing on her part. And of course, that's ludicrous. But anyway, that's a proceeding that that's a federal claim against her in the second federal case. So based on her having brought that restraining order, which was then withdrawn,
Right.
then there's the thumbnails case. So there's an example right there. The restraining order is an example of him turning around on its head something that she did to protect herself. She took action to bring legal action to protect herself, and then somehow that got withdrawn, and that's a whole nother thing with Josh Silverman to be addressed in the future. And then he takes advantage of that opportunity because there was no release obtained, that being the problem. So she withdraws this voluntarily, but you would think her lawyer would get a release to protect her from exactly what occurred, a lawsuit against her for that.
Right.
So that's the second thing. The third thing, so there's the first one, the second federal, that's one we just discussed. Then there's the original thumbnails case. Again, another example. She took action to fight back, and then for reasons that was withdrawn to be pursued in another forum. And they took advantage of the procedural, technicality of their ability to claim, well, they withdrew it, so it terminated in our favor. So now we're going to sue her for that too and claim it was vexatious. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, that's not a suit. What they did is they brought a motion after it was withdrawn. They revived the withdrawn lawsuit by bringing a motion for sanctions, claiming that it was filed frivolously. So that's going on. And then number 4 is the Grangers, another example that Michelle brought a lawsuit, a legitimate, valid lawsuit based on her property being invaded on a pretext to take video to play on YouTube to feed a storyline about the child.
On many channels.
Right. And she brought a valid lawsuit, again, withdrawn voluntarily. Let's recap. There's a rule 1.420. It says you can withdraw any claim, any lawsuit voluntarily without prejudice, meaning you can start again somewhere else at another time, as long as there hasn't been a trial or a summary judgment hearing yet. So as of right, and let's face it, the reason those were withdrawn at the time, because first of all, there's the federal litigation that they could have been added to and were initially, but also, also the attorney in state court, was being overwhelmed. I mean, their whole strategy is to punish any lawyer, that would step up and try to help their target. And so we just felt it was better, for this attorney to, get out, and we can deal with these claims as of right elsewhere. So they take everything and they turn it around. And so now there's 4 things going on, and it's relentless and relentless and relentless. And what that was doing, let me catch my breath. What that was doing, was preventing her from being able to, live her life, take care of her child, and to pursue her legal claims. And their whole strategy was to become so overwhelming with the polymop that, she wouldn't be able to gather herself and her resources as limited as they are to, fight back and bring her own legal actions, as well as for Harley Grace, who individually has standing to bring claims for the way her life has been affected. So all that being said, now we have a law firm, and this law firm will take care of all of those 4 things. And this, in addition to taking care of all those 4 things, guess what it does? It frees free EES, not ZE, frees me up to really begin preparing Harley Grace's legal actions, and to look for legal counsel for her in Florida to pursue those, because she is the most affected and harmed victim of all. And it's sort of, forgotten because, she's, let's face it, not always the one at the top of the, in the news or whatever on the videos and stuff, but but a lot of times she is, A, and B.
She's not in the thumbnails. She's not, talked out in a bad way, but they're using her.
Exactly. And the whole thing, the adoption, storyline has been the most enduring content generator for them. Save the child and the adoption is invalid, all this nonsense. And so,
the fundraiser for the,
but even when it's not just about her, and it's just, targeting Michelle, it is Harley who suffers. Think about how they invaded the property, and on a Sunday in August, and all of a sudden this child's Sunday is being, like a circus with all these strangers and the police, and her mother having to put her, inside to prevent her from being videotaped involuntarily, and then they use that and claim that this was abuse because she was trying to protect her from being videotaped. I mean, no matter what you do, so the child is her 2 years of her life has been consumed by this, and by her mother being consumed by this, and her education, has been delayed, her ability, to do normal kid things with her mother and spend time. All of this is
all of it's delayed. 2 years.
And this is all compensable under the law. I mean, this is all what legal damages are for. And so now that there's a law firm who can handle all of these relentless legal actions against Michelle, that will enable me to focus on what on preparing something that I can then send around to potentially interested counsel and say, look, this is the claim, this is the legal action we want to bring for this child. I think that would be a lot more appealing to a lot more potential counsel, that there's a young child involved in her future. So all that's leading up to me saying, please help. So we have we have a new PayPal.
We have a pool set. There's a pool set up.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yep. And so, first of all, I want to thank everybody for the past pools. There have been, we had that sizable invoice from that December 2nd deposition. Then we had a bunch of Zim related invoices trying to get them served, and people stepped up here. It was amazing. Some people with smaller donations and a couple of people with really quite large donations, which, I'm not going to take the liberty to say any names or anything, but, anybody is free to reveal themselves, or I think even if their name is on the pool, you could see it. Anybody could see it for themselves. So this one's a little bit bigger, but this is really it. I mean, this is really going to be it when this law firm is retained and is able to do their thing. It will really be the turning point.
Yes, it will. So we got to get that retainer covered. And then they'll do what they got to do, and I think everybody's going to be quite shocked.
And they have this conference scheduled for the 29th. Phone. Right. It's a phone conference. I think it's a little ambitious to hope to, have them retained by them. But in any event, even if it's after the 29th, it'll be fine.
Right.
They'll have to,
By the way, Robbie popped in here while you were talking. Hey, Robbie.
Hello, Bruce. Hello, Leslie. Hello, Lisa.
Hey,
Robbie.
Hello, everybody in the chat.
Hey, what happened yesterday? That was a false alarm on the e-gator?
No, that was an e-gator.
Oh, did you do it? I thought I zipped through and I didn't see you guys out there catching the gator. I thought you were in the truck the whole time.
No, we went out, grabbed it, and relocated it. It was 2.5 feet.
Oh, it was a quickie. Okay, no worries.
Yeah, 2.5 foot. The lady has dachshunds, and it's a gator that size could kill a dachshund.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize. I guess it had to have been quick. Otherwise, I would have come across it as I scrolled through.
Yeah.
Right. Well, guys, I posted the link up there if anybody feels they'd like to help. It's right there. I can answer questions too. While I'm here, because I know it's been a long time. And there's there's a lot of stuff. I mean, some stuff has happened, but there's a lot of stuff waiting to happen too. Yes.
It's been waiting to happen for a long time. Everybody might know now I have my own lawyer, thankfully, to appear for me in the second case. Mm-hmm. And I think that's been revealed or whatever talked about.
The reveal, I believe a small attack went out there too. I don't know. We'll see how far that goes.
But he's good. He was my disciplinary counsel too, so he's really good. I'm very happy to have found him.
Well, being that we have two lawyers here, and we're going to be talking about motions and mayhem, so I'm not sure how much we're going to get into that. However, what is your favorite motion? Both you and Leslie. What are your favorite motions?
You mean is a general thing?
Yeah, just like in general. Like what
motion is to dismiss?
Besides that. No, besides that, like what is your favorite motion to argue?
Well,
is there anything specific, or do you have to have more?
Depends on the area of law. I think that and it's not necessarily. I would say a favorite motion is maybe what is the favorite aspect of a case? Maybe I don't know how you feel about that. Like I know I really loved trials. I hated mediations. I don't know.
But is there like a specific one that you like to argue? And not, of course, it's like
motion to dismisses are really hard because they have such a it's really hard to get the court to drop something with prejudice because they want people to have access to the justice system. So, motion to dismiss is something. It's just kind of protocol. You're gonna, if you get a lawsuit, someone's gonna always respond typically with a motion to dismiss. But I think I love discovery because that's when you can nail people for all the BS,
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is though, when the plot is for them to just create fake litigation so they can put people through discovery and find private chats and invade their phone. I mean, by allowing it, by not being diligent at the motion to dismiss stage, by the court not really examining it and making sure it's legit, it gives them free reign to go on a fishing expedition for months. And that's exactly what happened with the extortion.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what happened in this case. In the extortion counts, which was really the bedrock of the whole lawsuit, was extortion. And all they did is they put up a random statements that they got off of social media, and then they slapped a label, extortion. And 5 months went by after a 12B6 motion was pending, filed and pending, to dismiss for failure to allege facts amounting to extortion. They just put the label on the count, extortion. And then under it was just innocuous statements. For 5 months, they got to conduct discovery based on that claim of extortion, even though after 5 months, the court agreed they had failed to allege extortion. They got 5 months of discovery on claims that they failed to allege to even meet a 12B6 standard. And so this is what it's all about for these people. This is Palomop. That's what they want. They want to just get private chats and private phone records, and then they can make phone calls and say, who's this? Oh, Michelle, former neighbor. Oh, let's talk. Let's get some chats to docs. And as Mike Volpe he brilliantly puts it about how now they found things that Leslie filed as a lawyer in the past. And anything at all. It doesn't matter if it's innocuous or what it means. It's just, we found something, so they put it up and then they say something about it. And so Mike's like, wow, they discovered that Leslie filed things, and that's all they've that's it. That's the extent of it.
Bruce, like I was saying before, what does any of this matter? Like, I'm not trying to be a politician. I'm not running for president. I was just doing an interview. I mean, why is my
Leslie,
life...
it doesn't matter. What it matters is they're making content out of it. So they're making money off of it.
Right.
Exactly. It's anything is gold. So over the months, Jeremy once in a while shows up on a video and he sticks his phone in the camera because somebody who may or may not be identified provided him with a private chat from someone else, usually Michelle or some relative of hers, and whatever it is, it could be, hey, the weather's nice today, and they spin it into something, and it's gold to them, anything at all. And so they have strangers who want to insinuate themselves into the whole thing, contacting me. Hey, I used to know her and I had a private conversation. Look, I even saved it. It's from 3 years ago. Look, we talked about whatever, and
it's only because she was able to talk to people on our side where they were not willing to talk to anybody, really, I guess. And, then so that's all she did.
And this is what Shara tried to do with this. I'm sorry, not Shara, with Megan, with this whole Northport thing. They created this whole thing to recruit former neighbors from years ago to step up with anything at all, private information, private chats, anything at all. Tell us anything at all.
Oh, Megan was doing a call out tonight. She wants information on me, I believe Leslie too, and Richard.
Yeah. Anything.
She's calling out people.
Wait, what? This is my life, and I, to make money from my life and make me into I'm not out there visibly, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck is this?
Leslie, they want to know how much lunch money you give your kids every day.
Famous, for God's sake, if I was famous, hey, at least I was getting a benefit. But I'm not famous. Why does my life matter so much to somebody? Honestly.
Yeah. It's just their narrative. I mean, the other night I literally showed how one of these minions were right on the backbone of the Johnny Depp trial, right? And he literally had firsthand info from one of Johnny's lawyers, getting all kinds of information before it even came out in the court. And it was basically given to him so he would spread that narrative against Amber Heard.
But these are famous people. I'm not famous, for God's sake. Like, what?
No, but I'm just saying it's their narrative. What it is you came on, you're a new person looking at the case, and they didn't care who you were. It was the fact that you were being seen or interviewing or talking to one of us, and they had to smear you. Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
They feared it because she's a lawyer. and they
that
thought
too.
she was coming in
That's
to help.
probably most important.
They're
She knows what
delusional
she's
that
talking about.
everybody's
She's
a
got the
public
law on her
figure.
side.
Everybody's a public figure to them just because we're involved in this some way, and in their sick mind, we're free open season. It's just it's not so. They're violating a lot of people's privacy and so forth.
Yes.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
I haven't even amended, but I plan to amend my complaint because this is a complete violation of my privacy. Like,
Yep.
what's going on
Absolutely.
right now?
Yep. It is.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
I
you know,
don't sign up to have my life dug up and freaking thrown all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not just
But if
it's
you
not
do
just
it to
you
them-
and it's not just you and us who are like directly involved, but they go after family. Like my wife, as everybody now
Yeah.
knows, is
My husband.
famously, yep, and so
They're
Leslie, I don't know if you
Robbie's
know we're,
kids.
but he actually stalked openly about my wife, knowing where she works and having contacted where she works, and she resigned from her job over that, teaching job. So
Yeah.
they've talked about my kids. I mean, I'll tell you what. Look, whatever they say. I mean, he's disgusting, and he goes on there and he says to my, about my kids. Oh, I'm so sorry you lost your father, and it's too bad that you have a lack of a man standing in for him. I mean, these are the things that he said openly on YouTube about me. Well, I'll tell you what though, I got kids who love me and who are in my life and who I spend time with, and who I go see in their band and so on and so forth. Let me see you do that, Mr. Hales.
Yeah. I mean, he's just prudent. You just gotta ignore. Like, I don't even go there. Like I said, I went there and I recorded the stuff because I wanted to document, and I'm sure there's gonna be more. But I really don't go to these minions. But what I did was I said, you know what, I've had enough. I didn't have to dig into any of their stuff. I literally just got something sent to me. I clicked on it, and there was more and more and more and more on Tug, and it's all about his involvement with the Depp child and how he got firsthand information and was basically handed, so he would purposely spread that information. And then it went back a little, years before that, on how he used to go with the gaming in the comic gate or something like that,
right?
And how he used to do that. He was always spreading these false narratives. He'd take a little piece of something, twist it, and like literally sit there for hours trying to convince people of what he's saying is true. And I heard that last week, and it was about the donor that has donated to a lot of the channels on this side of the fence, let's just say. And he was literally trying to convince the donor. So I went back and I looked at all his videos, and I looked at when they started, when did this topic of Hales come up? And it was Megan that brought it in through DUI guy. He did a couple of videos because it had to do with a judge, of this judge grudge thing, right? And then he let it go, and he was going over a couple of other things, doing videos about different things. But when that assault happened on Guapo and Jeremy, because if you look at the statistics, Jeremy's channel went down from there. He turned a lot of people off by showing his color and who he really was with Guapo. And so Jeremy needed a pick-me-up. He needed something. And all of a sudden, in comes Tug and ever since that day, he's been completely on discussing this case and going against anything.
So you think he was like specifically like hired, co-opted?
Absolutely. I definitely do, because
it's 100%. Tug is 100%. What the hell's every day? It's what the hell's for months.
Yeah.
For months.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's right on it. Megan's right on it with him, and they've been gung-ho all this entire time, ever since that whole thing happened with Guapo. And right before Jeremy filed this lawsuit, Jeremy went on a little bit of what he was probably trying to create a press junket, right? He went on that Leroy Truth guy. I don't know how he really met DUI guy, but he met MLS, and he was doing like this Lego thing that he wouldn't play Legos with, right, or something. I mean, it's weird. So that he popped up right February 20 something, and he filed the lawsuit on March 4th, I believe, March 4th.
That sounds right.
March,
yeah,
right. And then next thing you know, they covered it. But when the whole thing went down with Guapo, it was August 4th, I think. Also, it was the 4th again. But August 15th is when Tug went gung-ho on Hales with Megan, and then both of them started doing it.
And that was right around when I was starting, when I was going to get in PHV. That's right around the time that I realized that we hadn't found lawyer, and I didn't realize it would be as convenient to admit myself PHV, and that's right when that was going on. And so when I did that, before there was a like Hales wouldn't mention my name or reference my name whatsoever, and then when I became exactly. When I became PHV, oh my God, it was like, forget about it. I mean, I became the central, target.
Yeah. Like in this federal, the second case, right? They're showing like it's 57 pages. Why is it 57 pages? Or is it 75 now or something on the first one?
Yeah, because they do a lot of links in the thumbnails. It's just,
they did all the links to my channel, all the thumbnails to my channels. And I'm laughing my ass off. My show, we put up Tug's. Let's put up Jeremy's. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of, shit that's gone on here. I'm like, and they're trying to make it like my conspiracy. And so I did the timeline. I'm like, that's kind of funny. Kind of funny. I can't wait for Jeremy to explain Tug to a courtroom because of what he did with Depp. And all of a sudden, boom, here he is. And he's gung-ho. Same exact like type of videos, back to back to back on Depp and Amber, Depp and Amber, Depp and Amber. He's doing the same thing with Hales, and he's been doing it for months. You know what I mean? So they want to compare. They can compare my channel to Tug's channel, and we'll probably have very similar videos. He's on one side, I'm on the other.
Right.
But no one's told me to do nothing. Tug hasn't gone and tried to help a family or a child.
Yeah, they're profiting off of stalking. So there's no Tug and Megan and Chizzy and others. They are profiting off of the entertainment created by cyber stalking and abusive litigation. That's as simple as that.
And we don't tag him at all. We don't use his name at all. And he does, and he's been profiting off of them this entire time. And that's what Jeremy offers. Jeremy's
selling plushies of you on his whatnot.
Yeah, last night he's got a new stuffed animal. It's a flea, and it comes with an eviction notice. And I was like, oh, brilliant. You guys are so smart. But yeah, so he's taking a character that he's created a character out of me, and now he's selling, me for profit and making money. But guess what? You know what I was told today? Somebody sent me an email saying that all those things that he was selling are down. Took them down. All the products made of the characters are now down. Well,
really? Like you mean the stuff from before too, like macaroni and cheese, all that stuff?
Yeah.
Big nose things like that.
I didn't go look myself. But that's what I was told.
I wonder why.
Well, because I said something about it last night.
Profiting from off of everybody that you've made a character in your story.
Yeah, I said something about it last night. I was like, keep doing it, idiot. I'm like, you're profiting off of me. And that's clear as day right there.
That's what I'm saying all the time. I was like, he's making you guys into characters and profiting.
Yeah.
That's what
so I'm like, go ahead. And all of a sudden today they disappeared. So, but I have every people have sent me, like every time they've sold those products, they've sent me how many they sold every night and stuff like that. So, and that's what stuck in the truck.
Dirty just said that he puts them up every Sunday, then takes them down during the week.
Oh, isn't that funny? Okay, well, why? So nobody could see it during the week? It's just during the sale?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure there's people that are screenshotting, not just screenshotting, screen recording his whatnot sales. Just saying. You can't hide it.
Hey, let me I've been mentioning this, so I know it's kind of a little bit off topic. The issue of Randall Shockett's Florida bar application. Can I throw that out there?
Go right ahead. I'm just going to grab a drink. Go ahead.
All right. Well, either A or B has to be true as an explanation for his membership in the Florida bar. So A, he was completely candid when he applied for membership to the Florida bar, in the early 2000s. He was very candid and said, yeah, I was a dentist and I committed billing fraud and they suspended me. And as a condition of suspension, I was not allowed to make any income from my dental practice, but I didn't care because I arranged for kickbacks from the coverage dentist and they caught me doing that. And then they took my dentist license. And then I applied for the Arkansas bar and I didn't tell them anything about any of that stuff. In fact, I lied and told them I hadn't had any such issues in my past. They found out and they wouldn't accept me to the Arkansas bar. And I appealed that to the Arkansas Supreme Court and they upheld my rejection. So I put all that, I was very candid and I put all that on my Florida bar application and they said, well, we see that you've reformed because as demonstrated by your candor. And so please and welcome to our Florida bar. So that's A. Now, the other possibility is B. He left it all out and they let him in without knowing anything about his past. So in either case, if you ask me, it's a major scandal. Okay, so there's somebody in the Florida bar whose decision it is to accept a lawyer who's applying, and they knew all that about him. That's a scandal. And if he left it all out of his application, which is the reason why he got rejected by the Arkansas bar, and if he succeeded with this deception in the Florida bar, then that would be a scandal. So either way, it's a scandal, and therefore the question becomes, which is A or B. But either way, it's a major problem if you ask me.
Well,
I'd like to take a survey. I'd like to take a survey too from the chat, whether you think it's A or B. A, he was candid and they let him in, or B, he was deceptive.
Leslie, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I can tell you it's extremely difficult to get the Florida bar to clear you. I had a friend in law school and she couldn't get cleared because she had credit card debt and it wasn't that much. And I guess she wasn't completely transparent over her credit card debt. And so they told her that she would have to reapply 5 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, and that doesn't compare to what this guy did.
That's what I'm saying. So I can tell you right now that I don't know,
You think it was
I
B?
can tell you it's very difficult to get the Florida bar to approve you. Very difficult.
So you think it was B, that he left everything out and deceived
that
them.
would be just based on my experience and seeing them who've not let people in for a lot more minor situations. Yes.
Wow.
I happen to think it was B too, but that's just my opinion. Let's see. People are already. We didn't throw out there officially, but who thinks A, he was candid and they said, "Oh, come on in," and who thinks it was B, he left all that stuff off of that? That's what I'm saying so far too. It's exactly what he did with Arkansas.
Yeah,
right?
I just see B's going on in the chat.
And what does he have to lose? And what does he have to lose if he gets caught again? They just reject him again. Maybe he moves on to Kansas or something.
He moves to a different state.
Hey guys, I wanted to tell everybody a good night because I have to get off because I have to get up early to take my kids to school at 6 a.m. So
alrighty.
I wanted to thank you
Good
guys
night,
for having
Leslie.
me.
Bye, Leslie.
Bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
I'll be
Leslie.
listening.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Talk to you guys later. All right.
All right, bye.
Any A's out there? Does anybody think he was candid on the bar application in Florida and they let him in?
I didn't see not one. Sorry.
And so look, I would think even all these years later, however 20 years later, that the Florida bar and whomever that is embodied by today, would want to know about that. Would want to see how it is that someone with that kind of a record got in, even all these years later. Whether they say, I understand they don't really save the actual physical application or whatever the document that constitutes the application after a few years, but that doesn't mean that they can't investigate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
And if he got let in, that's somebody who's got to be investigated, who let him in or voted to let him in, knowing of that. How did that happen? How can they let him in?
Yeah, how the whole bar has to be investigated then.
Or the people who had the ability to make the decision at the time.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense that a bar, he got rejected for the dentist stuff and then you have to add on the deception to the Arkansas bar to his Florida bar application. So there was the second level of egregious, lack showing lack of qualification.
What does this mean now that like this needs to be brought up to the bar now?
I mean, it would seem to me.
And say, hey, excuse me, how did this guy get a law degree here or a law license?
Exactly, in the proper way. If there's it's not like there's not like a procedure, like a regular grievance. A lawyer commits misconduct or something. This is sort of unusual. It's like, look, did you guys know, whoever back then know about this candidate at the time when he was admitted or not? And maybe they did, maybe they didn't. And either way, it seems to me it's worth, somebody should look into it.
Well, I guess it would just be like you just have to write a letter to the bar saying, excuse me.
No, it's not that simple.
Why not?
Because unfortunately, life isn't that simple.
The other way, though, to hold account. I mean, really, the ultimate way to hold people accountable is in court. And then that's hopefully what we'll do, both for Michelle, for John Cook, for Harley Grace, and that includes Shockett because of his partnership in this scheme.
It's good, King Paco.
Yeah. I'll be say one. Reading the chat.
I spent all day with the FBI.
If there's any questions about stuff, let's throw it out because I'm gonna get off in a little while. But
do you have any questions for Bruce?
Yeah, Bruce, did you have the FBI visit you today?
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah. What can I tell you? They were here. They were here for about an hour and a half. They really what do you call it? Turned my whole place upside down and inside out. We're still cleaning up.
Holy shit! What'd they want?
Who knows? Search warrants. No, I'm only kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
What was the story? I didn't watch. I heard a lot about it. I didn't watch it, but the other night he was saying that the FBI is going to be serving search warrants or extraditing people to Ohio. I mean, what was he saying?
Oh, there's another case that he's gonna do, and this one they're gonna demand, or wait, he's either gonna do another case because he said that, but he also mentioned the new case and all the evidence, and then there's hundreds of contempt violations, because every time I show a picture of his vehicle from their cameras, it's a contempt violation.
Oh, I see. What's the new case though? What new case?
Well, isn't that sad that you would know that there's hundreds of pictures of your truck going by their house? Duh, dumbass.
What's the new case he's talking about?
But he mentioned a new case and that they were going to add somebody else to the second case. But now there's a new case and everybody's going down. And been, the
FBI's involved.
The FBI involved, and they're heavily involved, and all kinds of. I was just like, oh my god, this guy's talking out of his ass. You may have talked to the FBI, but trust me, it's freaking Memorial Day weekend. Like they're not going. He said that they were at someone's house today, but yet it's none of the defendants. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were at Megan's house and she's pissing and moaning and needing more information and needing more research done because she ain't gonna have shit. They're trying to put people away for things that nobody's doing. The only person who's doing that shit is all them.
Spade asks, Spade's one of ours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Well, Spade asks questions that are up and down. You never know.
Well, so it's a PayPal pool. It's a wonderful thing PayPal created that enables you to have a dedicated pool for a specific thing, and a specific goal, and that's so
I am
that
not
created
in control of that money. Just so you know.
So anybody can see it. In other words, there's complete transparency by its very nature, the way it's set up. So anybody can open it and see the total and even how much was donated by who and when. And we have the actual, an agreement, the retainer agreement with the amount stated, well, redacted, or we'll get a proper invoice to show it. But the point is, the amount is set, it's concrete. And so everybody can see that when it's reached, it'll be reached. And that money will then be used by me. I will, I'm the one to set it up. I will take that money and it will be directly paid for the purpose for which it was always intended. And everybody donated in reliance on.
Believe it or not, there is there are 100 videos, 100+ videos of them going by and doing drive-bys. There is. However, I have not shown
Bruce is Spade.
many of them. By any
Spade,
means,
just click on the
whatsoever.
link. Just click on the link. You'll see it. It's all right there, right in front of your
I'll put it. Hold on. I'll put it in there again.
And the thing is, it's great because it's not even, it doesn't have to be run. It just runs itself. It's a beautiful thing. It's just when it reaches the amount, then I take it and pay it. I transfer it.
Hey, is Ray Bone Crusher still in here?
I think so. I thought I just saw him.
Wait, somebody said it's private. Nobody can open it. What?
What?
Oh, the money is
Nobody
private.
can see.
Oh,
okay. Nobody can see who donates. I don't know. Maybe people can choose whether some people.
Okay, there's Ray. Ray, what time did the feds leave your house this morning?
Oh yeah,
they got up. You made them breakfast and.
Up and down. What the hell? What are you talking about?
Oh, you said Spade was Jeremy before.
Oh, I was joking.
I know, but Spade doesn't get that.
I was joking. I just used Spade as an example. You know, anybody in the chat could be Jeremy. They could be acting like they're our best friend, and we wouldn't know it. I think we figure it out though. But no, I'm just saying that anybody could be them. I mean, somebody who's in here talking right now, it's probably Jessica or Deanna.
Ray.
Yeah, correct, Ernie. I think people could choose if their name can show or if their name is shown or not. I think they could choose.
Yeah.
But the total is visible.
You never know. Oh, I said Spade asks questions up and down, like, up on this side, up, down on that side, vice versa. Yeah, things like that. But I'm just joking. But no, it's good when people ask questions that would pertain to either side because that's how you find out the answers. That's how you're able to make up your own minds. So ask questions. Ask all the questions you want.
Another question I have will be, when will the decisions come on some of these things that have been out there for a long time? And also, John Cook filed a summary judgment motion. That should get refiled at some point. I mean, the signs don't even pertain to him,
right?
And that's all there is at this point.
So if it's just the signs and they don't pertain to him, then why is he being sued?
He just kind of gets kind of subsumed by the whole thing. It's like the court, and generally the perception is, they're one unit, and yet they're two different individual defendants, and there's different claims and evidence against each one.
Right, and they treat them as one person.
Exactly. So with him, the signs don't pertain. All right, look, remember, extortion's gone, and tortious interference was always hanging by a thread and is going to be gone because there's nothing. And what's left is the defamation, and it's all these random, statements on Facebook groups that are innocuous, certainly against a public figure. And what's left is just the signs, and the signs have nothing to do with John, and John should be let out of the case completely.
I'm looking for Tanya's question. One sec.
And the same in Ohio. John got sucked into Ohio for the same way through that one email that resulted in them exercising jurisdiction against Michelle. He didn't write that email, so somehow he got dragged into that too, and that's
Tanya,
by design.
Thank you so much for your super chat. I'm sorry I didn't see it. Bruce, Leslie. Oh, that must have been like when Leslie was leaving. What consequence can and will Jerm be held accountable for? Thank you.
What? Say again. What consequence?
What consequences can and will Jerm be held accountable for?
Well, as always, civil damages has always been what I envisioned that would be the way to hold them accountable. It's something I thought it would be well along on that avenue by now, but this, federal case has taken so long to, it's still there, I mean, and that's, and that case, and now the second case and all the other state court stuff, all of that is just prevented.
What about perjury charges?
from going on offense. You know, we don't have the wherewithal, the resources. We got to get out of that stuff first, and that's again why this finding this firm is so huge.
What about the perjury charges? Paragraph 19.
What about perjury charges on Germ?
Well, that's you know, I think it should be a grounds for dismissal of the civil case as far as any perjury, as far as charges go. I have no comment on that. I mean, you know, I'm a civil litigator, and when I see a lawsuit that claims, you know, damages of $75,000 and it doesn't, and then he brings a special affidavit that wasn't mentioned in the complaint about online posts calling him a child predator and has never been able to identify one, to me that's perjury specifically interposed to try to dupe the court into exercising federal jurisdiction. It worked, and a lawyer has to have more diligence to confirm the truth of a statement like that before they submit it as a sworn statement by their client. So that's subordination.
There's a question in regards to John.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, okay, it's not wrongful imprisonment is an actual tort, or false imprisonment is a civil tort that you can sue someone for. So like if they lock you in the room, you know, against your will, and you're like pounding on the door because you're claustrophobic, let me out of here. You know, they're laughing at you. That, you know, that's false imprisonment. It's a tort. Now, there's many other scenarios you can imagine. But what happened in that case was malicious prosecution. So at least if what we believe is true, this was a setup, and this was all contrived so that they'd have content. And John Cook, and I don't know if they could have ever envisioned how it went down, but sure enough, he got arrested and he spent 40 days in jail. And that is a very huge civil damages claim for John Cook against Wes, for sure. But let's face it, Wes doesn't have anything, you know, to go after. But if it can be shown that others were behind it, then that's why it would be worth pursuing that. And believe me, you know, Wes hasn't heard the last of this.
Could the FBI visit actually have happened, but only investigating Germ? Thanks, Bruce. Good to hear you back here.
Could the FBI visit actually happen, but only investigating Germ?
Yes.
You guys, the FBI has a lot bigger things to be worrying about.
Yeah, I think anything he said, you know, usually there's a kernel of truth in the tales and yarns he spins. I'm not even sure where the kernel of truth is in this FBI nonsense.
There is a criminal investigation now going on. That is true. I can verify that.
Against who?
Germ.
Okay.
Boudica says, the question was asked before, have you warned the law firm about the backlash they're going to experience once hired? Yeah,
that's part of the discussion each time we, you know, over the months and months, you know, that we've been talking to law firms is always part of the discussion. And so, yeah, they're cognizant of what, you know, this is all about. Yeah, that's a good question, Bearded. I got to go look back. I got to review them again and look and pick out my favorite. We can do a chart.
Yeah, it's funny. They talk about people taking donated money and stuff like that and running, but yet they made their viewers go to a GoFundMe and send this guy money, and he just took off and ran with it. And he was supposed to use that money to come back down to Florida.
Oh, Wes, yeah.
Be a witness, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's such a little sidebar of the story, but it was really a big part. I mean, this whole thing with
it is.
You know, John. I mean, poor John. You know, had to go away for that, and Wes. Right, he went back and raised money off of it. Started a YouTube channel, and then took the money and
made money. Got more money from a GoFundMe, and they promoted him. Jeremy did, and so did Travis.
And they kept. And the line was
about if you know, Megan and Tug and all them did.
And the talking point for them was always, why do, you know, this is bullshit. The prosecution, you know, this is not right. There's no reason they can't, you know, do this and they have to, you know, make them come down there. They could do it remotely. And the point was the prosecutors knew that this was bullshit. And they were, if Wes was willing to come, then they'd give it credence. And that he wasn't willing to come, confirmed for them that it was complete bullshit. Because if Wes really was telling the truth, he would be eager and enthusiastic, especially having raised the money to do so, to continue being in the good graces of the famous YouTuber that he was cool enough to, get sucked into this scheme. And instead,
well, he's the one who said right in Jeremy's chat that Jeremy needed a complaint.
Exactly. Instead, he realized, something, you know what Wes did? He was a little smarter than everybody else. He stopped digging.
Yeah.
He stopped digging for himself. He said, I'm not going to dig this hole any deeper.
said,
You know what? I made a little money. I'm going to fade away. I'm going to go and fade away with my little daughter and, work on getting her, winning next year's Miss Peanut instead of runner up for the third year in a row.
Well, you know what they ended up doing from that is once they got rid of Wes, they tried to bring the girl in to keep her as the witness.
They revived that whole thing.
Didn't want to even have her name involved in any of it. And then her father's bait shop or something all of a sudden starts getting promoted too. So it wasn't just Wes's channel. Her father's bait shop got promoted at the same time.
Yep, that was a short. Remember, she came. Her name was Patty, right?
Yeah.
And that was a little like one of these big, big promoted things, new character coming in, and then it turned out to be like a 2 or 3, 2-day story arc and fizzled out.
Yeah, and then they got pissed off because we showed some prior stuff that she was involved with like a house or something, and some horror dude with like horrors, costume type, I don't know,
House of Horrors,
House of Horrors type thing, yeah. And then, oh, you're bad. She's a witness. You're intimidating a federal witness. No, I'm not. I'm doing a fucking research, just like you do. You brought somebody into the mix, so I'm doing research. I'm allowed to research. That's public information out there.
Let me answer.
Why are they the only people that are allowed to, investigate? Because we know that they don't vet shit. They only vet the things that they see fit. That's going to fit the narrative. They don't vet anything else.
Hey, let me answer Diane's question. The answer is I don't regret it. I don't regret it. Although it wasn't.
Prayers.
It wasn't everything. It was a lot more than I expected. But I don't regret it. In fact, the more that has gone on, the more my conviction that this is the right thing to do has grown. These are helpless people, who were being attacked, and I thought that I'd be able to find more lawyers to really be actively involved in helping, and the ones that were supposed to be turned out to be not too good. Let's face it. So
Bruce, no good lawyers going to want to get involved and go through what you went through and your family went through.
Exactly, and that's by design. That's how they get away with this by getting lawyers not to want to get involved, but also the ones that do get involved, they somehow drive them out. And they drove.
Look what they did to Leslie. Look what they did to Leslie. Learning Leslie was going to help, and they attacked her all simultaneously. Attacked her
for days. 4 days.
It was all concerted.
Megan apparently went on some kind of warpath today, which I could give 2 shits about. But from what I get, it was Richard that she went after gung ho, me, and Leslie. So I'm just like, okay, well, have fun with that. I don't know what to tell you. It's literally they're allowed to throw shit at you, but the second you do it them, and I've said this quite a few times. Why is my little 3,600 subscriber channel bothering you so much? You guys have thousands upon thousands of subscribers and viewers. Why is this little channel bothering you so much?
They're scared the truth will come out, and they're scared they'll lose subs and they lose money.
Yeah. Yep.
They're scared to death people will open their eyes and see the truth.
Yep.
But that's exactly everything that it is. It's just, I don't know. It's insane, man. This is so weird.
There's a There's I think I sent you, Lisa, an email, another case about stalker, and
Yeah.
the YouTube guy, Dr. Todd Grande, he's great. And he lists the 5, there's like categories of stalkers, 5 categories of stalkers, rejected lover, this or that, the other thing. But this isn't one of them. This is like a new category. It's like stalking for entertainment and profit,
Yeah.
It's contrived. It's not even like there's no maybe there are real like feelings involved here. He really is obsessed. I mean, he really is. Let's face it. But yet, the real ulterior motive here is to create contrived entertainment and profit through stalking.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Marla.
Yep. Hi, Marla. So
This is crazy. This is so insane. If someone can't see, they're all using this for profit. Are you blind?
I mean, it's all about, the breadsticks. It's all about the views. I mean, even when I mentioned before that, Tug started after the Guapo thing, he wasn't even going on as much as he is now. He's now going like every day or every other day or whatever. Like he wasn't going live at all, the way he is now. Meanwhile, we were doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I think this thing happened with Guapo on a Saturday, and we were going live like nonstop because every day it was something else. It was something more, because it was a big thing at the time between the community of people. This isn't, to me, not national news. But I think what makes this national news now, or it's going to start coming to the forefront here, where it's going to get a lot more attention, is the fact that it's this guy, this YouTuber, self-proclaimed famous YouTuber, is attacking. First of all, how many lawyers are in this case? 3. He was trying to add a 4. So the 4 lawyers is in lawsuits with this guy, in regards to literally false claims, and all for content, Palomop. And I think it's going to be a big deal. And I think that Palomop thing is going to go places.
Yeah, it should, this should be more covered in some more legal media, not just on YouTube, and maybe it will. I'm surprised, when things get filed, like a lawsuit gets filed, usually that's the thing that like they get picked up on, like by Law 360, for example. They look for lawsuits that are filed. So a lot of stuff leading up to it, whatever, when it's filed, but yet they haven't quite latched onto this, but they will, I think. If it gets legs, and the litigation is where, if the litigation is stopped, and it should be, then everything else is going to fizzle out. That's the heart of that's the bonanza. That's the content bonanza, is from the litigation.
Yeah. Well, I know that there's other cases out there, and we're going to be discussing them. The Karen Reed case should be coming to an end real soon. And then another case that's starting up is the Iowa 4, where
Which
that guy
that?
murdered the 4 victims.
Oh, Idaho, you mean?
Idaho. Sorry, Iowa. Sorry. Yeah, so that's going to be coming up.
Yeah, Karen Reed is really, wow. That's I'm seeing so many more and more YouTube, like serious YouTubers covering it in their own ways, like very like almost unanimously everybody. I haven't seen one come down on the side that she's guilty, and that that this prosecution should have ever even been brought.
Yeah, every time I go to it, I'm always staring at that damn fan. I'm like, oh, gosh.
Yeah, during the break. Yeah.
Maybe you can answer this for me. Why is there a constant sidebar where they're all getting up and like going into the judge's chambers?
Because
why
the judge asked for us, because someone asked for a sidebar.
But why are they going into the judge's chambers? Why don't they just usually maybe I'm just watching too much television or how?
Well, I think they just do that for efficiency.
You walk up to the judge's,
If it's like a quick thing, they'll do it at the bench,
God bless the bears.
But if it's going to be more in depth, they probably go into chambers because they can't let the jury hear what they're talking about.
Gotcha.
But I hear that she's notorious for too many sidebars, but who knows?
Well, she's got plenty of them. Every time I turn around, the damn fan. All you're looking at is the damn fan. I'm like, oh my God, I will like watch this later, or I'll get my info from Kendra. Because Yeah, I'll fast forward it, through all the fans. But I like the way Kendra explains it anyway. But good night, William.
I think I told you I might be able to go down there during verdict watch. It's only not less than an hour away, and maybe do some on the street coverage, if you want. But like you can patch me into your
That'd be cool.
channel, and we could do some live interviews.
That would be cool.
I could probably get into the
Lisa,
courtroom
isn't
too with my
3D the
barcode.
difference between here and there? Yes, it is.
I used to be a law clerk. My first 2 years out of law school, I was a Massachusetts Superior Court law clerk, and the second year I was the chief law clerk. But I did rotation, so I was actually in that courthouse for I think 3 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool. That'd be fun. Well, I don't know when that's supposed to happen there, though.
Yeah, well, they got the prosecution is about to arrest, I think, soon, and then the defense will or will not. Maybe they won't even put on a case. But maybe they'll just say, we don't think they came close to proving it. So what do we got to put on a case? But I think they will put on a case. The consensus seems to be they will, and then however long that takes, and then the jury gets instructed.
I was told to pour you some wine, Bruce. Here you go.
What's that?
There you go. I was told to pour you some wine.
Oh wow, I love it. Two these in a pod. Is it a cab? I hope it's a cab.
I don't know. I also have a nice energy drink, whatever.
Cool. Well, listen, I'm gonna run it. First of all, I want to recognize Memorial Day. Very importantly, this is an important day to remember.
Amen.
And listen, if and thank you to everybody whose family who has served and who has family members who has served
and paid the ultimate sacrifice for this country.
Yeah.
This is.
And I will commit to going down to the Karen Reed, outside man on the street doing some stuff during I think the verdict watch.
We're gonna get Bruce man on the street.
If we could, but let me finish. If we could raise this, and I'm not trying to leverage anybody or anything. I'm just saying it would be great. We could raise this retainer fee for this law firm. Oh my God, I will feel so grateful and obligated to repay the favor in the form of being the live Karen Reed reporter for this community.
It's a for sure thing. If this money gets raised, you'll go and do the Karen Reed trial.
I will be the Two Lees in a Pod community's Karen Reed reporter at least one day. I promise. At least one day I will go.
You got to send him a Two Lees t-shirt.
Yeah, send me something to wear or a hat, like a press hat or something, but something I could wear, and I will go one day. I promise. I will go and walk around and take some, whether we do it live on a link or some video, whatever. I promise.
That's funny. All right, let's do it. Kendra will. She'll love it. I actually told her about it. She goes, no shit. I said, yes. Bruce said he'll go.
I'll show up Larry Foreman in his coverage.
God. Is he there?
Well, I don't know if he'll be there live, but I think you probably will go live. He'll travel there.
You got to do it live.
I mean, he'll travel there probably. Who knows? I mean, he's traveled to other things. He traveled to Johnny Depp. Tried to get into the court, right? Didn't he try to bribe somebody in line to take their place in the courtroom or something?
I don't know.
In the Johnny Depp trial?
Oh my God.
Who's this veteran helping veterans coming down on me here?
I don't know.
They got deleted. I'm looking at his comment and then it disappeared.
Oh, that's funny because I did that too, by the way. I don't know. When I see the name Veterans Helping Veterans and they're in here saying something like that, I kind of say to myself, what kind of a veteran are you to be in here just trying to throw trash? You know what I mean? Like that, What does that say about you? Is that Vag Nation?
I don't know who it is, but they said I faded away. What they did? I faded away from the.
Apparently not. You're right here.
Exactly.
You know what cracks me up is, you have the minions there. You have the Facebook warriors. You know, we can't even call them. They're the hodunks, right? So, or ho chunks, whoever they want to call themselves. But they're over there and they're spewing all this shit. Yet you're still here. The court stuff's still happening, and they have no idea what's going on. But they talk about it so much. I cannot wait for that big old slap. That big old slap. Yep. Because all these people, they act like they know the law and they don't. And that's why I have, like, when you come on, you explain a lot of the things. You explained a lot of the emotions that were going on. You explained that, like with Leslie coming on now, we're going to be talking about law a lot, you know? So it's like, we're trying to educate people because they're obviously clueless and they all think they know. And I really, really hope people pay attention, because if you're going to follow cases, it'll help you along the lines too. When you're watching all these other, you know, the Karen Reeds, the P. Diddy's, you know, even the Idaho 4, you know, and don't, like, listening to people like Megan no, listen to the law. People who work with the law, litigate law. I mean, that's where you're going to learn a lot from. Whether, you know, it's someone on a prosecuting side or a defending side, you know, you'll still learn both sides of it and how, you know, the strategies that are used to, you know, prove law. And I just think it's a great thing, and it's a system that hopefully they'll fix it one day and it'll work supposed to.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just think people need to if they want to talk about it, they want to, like, throw trash and all that. Know what you're talking about. Just know what you're talking about.
I mean, you know, in the cover, let's face it, the quote analysis from all the minions on the other side, it's not legal. They're you know, they read it and then they make an insult. They read an argument that I write in a motion and then a citation, and they go, "Oh my God, this is just a joke." That's their analysis. Something like that.
It's like Bruce is writing all these motions with these big words that I get tongue twisted over saying, and their comeback is like, "This is a joke."
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or like Squid likes to slap her forehead. Squid likes to slap her forehead when she reads a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
well,
you
listen,
know,
I was going to say, I'm going to get running, and thank you for, you know, again, just being the community that we need, and the, you know, and the side of this that we need. Lisa, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and thank everybody here for all your support. I really appreciate it, and Michelle
Have
does.
a good night, Bruce.
All right, I'll talk to everybody soon, and things are going to change when we get this law firm on board.
Yeah. This is a very big thing.
Yeah. All right, I'll talk to you.
It's a big deal.
All right.
All right.
Good night,
Bruce. So how about that? Monday Mayhem. We had Leslie on here. I bet y'all didn't think Leslie was going to come on here, did you? Did anybody? I'm like I can hear them if they're answering me. Waiting for a response. Did you think Leslie was going to come on, Robbie?
I thought she would come back on and speak her piece.
Yeah. No, Leslie's good people. She really and truly is, and she knows the law. And
she's a good-hearted person. She's a true Christian.
Yeah.
And she's gonna handle it the right way.
Yeah.
She's not gonna play games on the internet.
Nope.
And she's going to handle it the right way.
I was hoping to surprise you guys because I figured, you know, because you know, she shut all her social media down.
Yeah, but
everybody knew that. So no, but she
wasn't doing this for money.
Right, exactly. And in her explaining part of her life tonight when she was talking about how she became a lawyer, why she became a lawyer. Like her cases were, a lot of her cases were pro bono. Like she wasn't in it for the money. She wasn't about, making millions of dollars being that lawyer. You know what I mean? Was about helping the people. And, and that's what we're here doing. If you look at it that way, we're here helping a family and helping anybody else who could possibly have been a victim of his. And we're trying to do what's right and put the truth out there. Stop ruining these people's lives. Stop hurting these people. Stop hurting this child, because the person who's mostly affected is Harley Grace. And,
100%.
It's not like we're forgetting about it, but yeah, we are. The person most affected by all of this is a little girl, and we need to remember that. And that's why this is so important. This law firm that is willing to take on all of Michelle's cases at this point right now, this is very important, because if you ask me, it's slam dunk. But
yeah,
it's very, very important, and it will take care of, this firm will take care of all the cases that are out there. And then the main thing is getting Harley the things that she needs. Okay. And absolute justice. And, making it so that it frees up time, it frees up everything that's been boggling this family down. And they can, get everything she needs. I mean, her education is important. There's a lot that's going on, and people don't realize when you're attacked this way for such a long period of time, it changes your life. And they've lost two years with their little girl. Their little girl's growing before their eyes and has been faced with all this. And it's a different world that they were planning on living than what they got. And that child did not deserve it. And they can thank Jeremy and his minions for all that crap that's been going on. And there's no other reason but Jeremy. He did it. He did it all. And he used this little girl. And it's really sad. And I think it's about time that they get their lives back. And it's very important. So I'll put the link in here again if you can, because it's really important that we get this firm to take on her cases. And so if anybody can help the littlest thing, that'd be great. And because it all adds up, and once it's done, you're going to see it was badge. Thought so. You're going to see a big difference in these courts moving along, because once one thing happens, we'll go. So I want to thank Leslie for coming on. And we're still going to be doing Mondays Mischiefs with Leslie. So you can look forward to that once a week, guys. I just wanted to surprise you guys tonight. Yeah, so it'll be good from here. But don't expect her to talk about her case against the germ, because she's a lawyer, she knows better. So so don't expect her to do that. But she will talk about her experiences and cases with her, and maybe talk about current cases and explain, educate you guys on some of what the terms and all kinds of lawyer lingos and stuff and motions and whatnot. It should be fun. It should be fun. At least you'll get a Monday night without germ. How about that? So no matter what kind of freaking news comes out on a Monday, you will not find germ shit on Monday night, Mischief. Okay? We'll make it a point to do that. I'll probably have to do a 15-minute segment early in the day. Sorry. Just for breaking news.
Good night, Mike.
But good night, Mike. So that was fun, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Rob, what'd you do today for Memorial Day?
Worked.
You did?
Worked and then
I
got, Chris and I were interrogated by the FBI.
Oh man, they left Ray's house and then they stopped by me because you're like, I'm on the way to you. And
well, they were here yesterday.
I only got there for 15 minutes. They didn't ask me much at all.
They were here yesterday. The three women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they brought their pole in the warehouse and they were dancing for us and trying to get us to, speak on stuff. And
man, they must have a pretty large team because I didn't get no women. Maybe because I'm the girl they sent me men. I don't know. I mean, that's just what they thought. I mean, I have no clue, but I didn't get any men with poles.
Beauties.
No, I didn't get any men with poles. Ray's interview of the FBI agent was, we did an interview with him. Oh, man, I gotta go check that out. I did no YouTube today whatsoever. I did not care to go watch a video. I came on, checked my email, and it was like, Megan, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, holy crap. Okay. And then they showed me like her thumbnail. It's like, and she's like in war. It's that war. I'm laughing. I'm like, wow. Apparently this girl can dish it out, but she can't take it. And what was done to her exactly? I'm not even sure what she's all pissed off about. She's mad at everybody for being okay with this, what they're all calling is revenge porn. It's not revenge porn. Y'all know what revenge porn is.
So wait a minute. You read the meaning of revenge porn.
Yes.
So is she saying this actually happened between Jeremy and her?
No, I don't believe it. I think it was a joke. It's comedy. It's satire, parody.
Oh, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I mean, and I got a comment today that actually there was a couple of comments today. One, I was like, I have no idea who this person is talking about. They're talking about some guy named Eric and a girl named Angel who needs it. I mean, I was like, I don't know what video she was watching, but she was commenting on my video, and that I have no clue who you are, what you're talking about. So I just didn't even answer that. But there was a comment in there in regards to this parody that Megan's having a heart attack over. And I mean, I understand why she is. I absolutely understand. But they put out parodies and satire all the time. You know what I mean? And theirs are funny, but this one wasn't. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what about the guillotine?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that wasn't even parody. That was her actually doing Legos. She created that. And that's like a child's playground. Oh, that was a joke. But she was literally doing that. That wasn't even like AI or anything. Yeah. Yeah. But that was like, that wasn't even AI. That was her live doing that. But like, they make the pictures like they take two leaves and so two leaves is two fleas, but yet they look like Shreks and somehow like a green walrus or something, I guess. I don't know. Green large trolls or, so that's supposed to be funny, right? Then they do songs about it and they put AI things and they put clips. I mean, like, so she's allowed to be funny with satire, but nobody else did. Nobody else. But anyway, so this comment mentions it and then says, why didn't you put it on your channel? I said, because I can do whatever I want with my channel and I don't have to put that on my channel. I don't do that kind of satire or comedy or parody. You know what I mean? That's not what I do. But my reaction was like, like I know what I saw. Would I be mad if that was done to me? I wouldn't be happy. Yeah, but it's still what it is. What it is. It is satire and comedy. It was also done. Oh, they brought up the new Takedown Act, and the thing is that the Takedown Act, they were trying to use it in their comment, but they were doing it wrong. And I said, well, hold on. Deepfake images, well, it could include things like that, but this was actually published before the Takedown Act came into play, right? Now, it passed Congress, but it wasn't signed. The Trump didn't sign it till last Monday. So this has been a week. Megan is screaming and harping on something that's been out a law since Monday, okay? And she's using it to her advantage, which I'm sure a lot of people will. And the problem with this that they're going to run into, and that's not just her, but anybody, okay, is the First Amendment. the right to free speech. Okay. It's gonna run into issues there, you know. So you know, if it ends up in a court of law, they're gonna have to argue it, and who knows? It's gonna end up. They're gonna have to change it somehow to appease both sides of that. But you know, it literally just got passed. But either way, it includes deepfake images, which is something like, oh, I don't know, somebody taking a picture of you and a child and posting it everywhere. It would include that. So all social media platforms, once reported, have 48 hours to remove things like that. So that someone created a new Leslie page, maybe on Facebook. Yeah, well, it's that Anya chick, and she'll be shut down again. She obviously doesn't want her Facebook because she's already been jailed a couple of times, and she's going to get jailed again. So, you know. But anyway, so it handles the deepfake images like children and things like that too. And so, I mean, you just have to see how that law is going to work. But the thing is, when she's accusing people of shit, she's accusing me of something that I had nothing whatsoever to do with. She's accusing Leslie of publishing something that Leslie didn't publish. Okay? It's in the court records. This parody or satire is literally listed in the court, in the amendment, which means it's public record and can be shown. Okay, so Megan needs to wake the hell up to the, you know, stuff that she claims she knows and court cases and the things that she reads and stuff. Maybe she should go back and look at that amendment again that, you know, her buddy filed. It's in there, which made it public record. Just saying. But, you know, so, but she can't blame everybody for something somebody else did. You know, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like Robbie. You don't have to like Leslie. You don't have to like anybody. You don't have to like Rich. But somebody did it, and it wasn't. You can't blame everybody for something. You know, I'm not going to blame Megan for something Tug did. You know, now Megan joining in on the bullshit that Tug's doing, you'll hear me say something like that because Tug has a narrative and he's going for it and he can't even deny it. Since he did it for Depp, he cannot deny doing it for Jerem. I don't care what he says. The timeline fits. So, you know, good luck explaining Tug to the courts. That's all I got to say to Jerem as far as he goes. And Tug can say whatever the hell he wants. I don't care. I don't care. He's a liar. God. He's creepy. You know, I don't know anybody who can, you know, go and marry their client when they hit 18. And it's yeah, he's creepy. Just if you look at him, he's creepy. There's a reason the guy wears a mask. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know what to say about this stuff anymore. Let her be mad. Let her do what she's got to do. Let her think she's doing the greatest thing. I mean, I've seen the cases that she's been on. She tried to, you know, have someone arrested for stalking. I think she did. The case was dismissed. You know, she's, you know, whatever. She thinks she's right. She's not. She goes on and on and on about a McDreamy judge who, like, all of a sudden, you know, goes on Bruce's side for emotion. And, oh, he should be recused. He should be recused. She, like, flips her switch all the time. Oh, it's crazy. Anyway, Lisa,
I don't follow it enough to see all that, but
neither did I. I mean, I knew that they were talking and shit, but you know, like I said, the only time I watched Tug was after that hearing that night because they were all on there, and the only way you heard what happened at the hearing was by them saying it, right? Then you had to wait for the transcript. So that's why I listened, but I can't listen to him, man. I really can't. Unfortunately, this thing happened last week with Leslie, and I had to record all of it, and did. So I got stuck listening to that idiot, and oh my God. But I'm glad I did because I heard him literally trying to badger David. It would have been somebody else. I don't listen to him enough to hear how he talks to everybody on other subjects that he's trying to convince people of. But I literally heard him talking about David. And I mean, calling him out, like, and you know, calling him a coward. But the night of the hearing that I had to watch, he's telling him to go fuck you. I'm thinking, why are you mad at this guy David that never came and, I don't know, sent you a super chat or something after you told him to go fuck himself? You know, why are you all mad? But yet last week, he's like, you know, why would you go back and they're bashing you and they're bashing you? And I'm thinking, no one's bashing him. Not over here. And this is another thing I'm trying to say. They put something someone else did and they blame everybody. I'm not the one who made up videos about David. I wouldn't do that. I didn't even talk about him in the chat. Even though, whatever, we all know what we know. I did not trash him or nothing in my chat, and everybody knows it. But I was being accused of it by Tug because somebody else made a video about him. And I did not do that. So, you know, I'm like, there's so much stuff being said that is absolutely not true. And I know the people that are here regularly know that. You know, whether you agreed with me or not for saying something or not saying something, you know, I didn't. And I mean, I said what I said when it was needed, and y'all saw that too. But there was no videos created. There was no bashing going on here. There was none of that. And he was literally telling everybody that there was over and over and over. I mean, literally trying to convince not just his viewers, but literally out of like 2,000 or 3,000 people that might have been listening, he was literally trying to convince David. Whether David was still listening or not, I don't know. But that's what I saw. So
boy.
It was crazy. I was like, listen to him trying to convince this guy. Wow, why is he doing that? And then I think it was that night someone sent me, because I've seen Tug's cosplay stuff, like the Comic Gate with him and his wife and changing names. That I've seen before, and I didn't do nothing about it. You know, whatever. My thing was, this is all, to me, again, Jeremy, John, Michelle, and Harley. You know, that's where this all boils back down to. You know, Tugs and whatever's have fun. But the other night when I got that and I read it and it was like depth this, depth that, and he spoke to, I guess it was the right one that I saw, where he was getting information from Johnny Depp's lawyer. That was the first one I saw. I said, excuse me, what? He had inside information. Hold up. And that's what made me read it.
How you doing? Nine Chins, sir.
Hey, Nine Chins. I said hi before. You may not have heard me. But anyway, so yeah, that's what made me kind of look at all that again. And I was like, holy crap, he had inside info from Johnny Depp's lawyers. And I told you guys, I was on Johnny Depp's side. Johnny Depp did not need anybody like Tug. But he was there to put out a narrative, and he did, and ran with it. You know, so didn't know him beforehand. So anyway. So let them be mad. They can say and do whatever they want. I don't care. They doxed my address. Don't like it. Well, sorry. I still didn't dox you. But I don't know. But obviously they you know, they need some research. You know? They need people to do their research for them because they don't have enough shit to go after people. Well, guess what? I've got plenty on Germ. Can't wait for y'all to see that. Can't wait. And it's there. So y'all see it. So the Down Under dude still came out. I don't know what that means. Anybody go swimming today? Robbie, it was hot today.
It was hot as hell.
It was really hot today.
It sucked.
I mean, I like took 2 showers. I was like, oh my God, I cannot get, you know, cool enough. My AC was on 70. I was still hot in the house.
It sucked.
And it's 77 right now. But it's muggy. And it's going to be muggy tomorrow too.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow. It's supposed to rain Wednesday. It's supposed to rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, well, at least it won't be so bad. Because usually when it rains, it cools off a little bit. But you know what's going to happen when it stops raining. That humidity
thought.
is going to be constant until
Did
September.
it rain up there at all today?
Not that I saw.
It rained for about 5 minutes here.
Really?
It just made it, yeah, it made it worse.
Ugh. Just being here for a short time. I know you're honest and helpful and beyond, Lisa. It's called character and you have it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Becky. Yeah. Tomorrow night we got our regular Tuesday. Tidbits and taunts. That's what it used to be called. Oh, you can't see. Why can't you see the logo? Hold on a second. It's supposed to have a logo there. Why not? Hold on a second. What? There it is. It wasn't there this whole time. It was supposed to stay there. I went from, what do you guys like better? This one or this one? 1, 2. I think 2. It's fresh.
Ugh.
It's newer. Oh, you like the first? You like the original one? Oh wait, the first one was probably the one I showed because that's one that popped on. I like the one that's on there right now. 2, 2, 2. Yeah. 2. I just feel bad changing the original.
Thank
It
you,
was the
Todd.
original the whole time. Huh?
No, Todd said he liked my profile pic.
You saw it. It's up in the right-hand corner. Yeah, for some reason it wasn't up there. I did it earlier, but when I came back, I guess it was gone. But I don't know. I like the one that's up there now instead of the original. It's just I can't get rid of the original. It's the original. But, you know, we got to update. It's that's true. The original's on the bottom right corner. Thank you, Suzanne. Well, I can keep both. That's good then. I said it to Kendra. I got no response. Let's see. So let me post that link in here again, just in case people didn't get it. I'm pretty sure they're going to turn around and start talking crap. They always do. We don't care. We don't care. What do you say? Oh, well, that's not working.
Todd Caps.
That's great. Diana, do you have the right one? Are you kidding? I've been posting the wrong logo.
Oh, thank you, Chug Lies.
Hang on. Hold on. There it is. Oh, nice. We jumped up. Good, good, good. Very good. I have to fix that link. Why is it giving me a totally different one? PayPal. It's the same exact link.
Kim, that would be cool.
Oh, I see what was missing. Is it because I clicked on it in there? Hold on. I need to see if my link works. Hold on. Because otherwise, if I click it from here. Yes, it pulled it up. Oh my goodness. It just jumped up. Even more. Nice. Great job, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know why when I put it in here, it didn't work. But it worked with the link I posted. Good. Yes.
And you know
It
that's
did work
pissing
fine.
them off so bad because they don't know who this law firm is.
And I don't think they're going to know until it's too late. You guys are gonna love this new law firm. I can tell you that. Lisa has trademarked the new logo. Yeah, they can't use that now. It's already been published. So let them try. Yeah, what was it at today before we started? Like 285 or 235 or something? I didn't see. But it's at 715 now. Very nice.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. Well, now we expect it when they get quiet. That's when to worry. Yeah. It doesn't bother me when they get quiet. Like yesterday, it was like, okay, so the FBI's invited. Like, I just laughed it off. I'm like, okay, let's see what this idiot says. And then, like, what ruined his whole little vibe he thought he may have had going on in his live yesterday was him literally telling people that, George disagrees with me, but I fully believe. And he was like backing up and he was losing his words. And I'm like, oh, you idiot. I'm like, you're just spewing the same freaking crap. Let me guess. Somebody contacted the FBI because of some, I don't know what they're calling revenge porn. So you spoke to someone, you found out a little bit of info, and now you want to tell the world that the FBI is involved. Okay. But you also told the world that the FBI visited some peeps. Okay. And you also told the world that Richard Luthman was served in court the other day. Or at court the other day, and you lied because he was not served. So you lied to the world yet again. Darn, Lisa didn't see my request. I didn't see your request, Todd, but I do have a message for you. Absolutely do. I just don't know where I put it.
Was unsupervised that fateful day.
Todd, can you hear me? Wake up, Todd. Smoke follows trouble. Guess who it's following now? Todd. If there's smoke, there's fire. And if there's fire, there's Todd. Well, Todd, you really lit up the party, the cruise, then the couch. It's bad when the couch isn't the only thing getting roasted. Todd. Wake up, Todd, you dumbass.
Wake up, Todd, you dumbass.
Don't worry, honey. These lips haven't seen action since Nixon.
Remember, only losers start loser couch fires. Todd.
Oh my God! It was the FBI agents.
They were there. Oh my God! All three of them? Wasn't there four there?
There's three.
Beautiful couches. What a waste. Robbie, I think you need to cool off a little bit. I expected Robbie to be like, go. It's quiet. So
I'm exhausted.
You are? Yeah, it's tiring. Well, you know what? It's hot. And when it gets hot, you get drained, quicker.
A lot quicker.
Yep. Yeah, Leslie. So Megan was stating that Danish witnessed him being served in the courthouse. So it has to be true, right? Oh, so Danish witnessed him being served in the courthouse. Yeah, I don't think so.
Never happened.
Lisa, I really think you need to make those a real sport. Drink this merch.
Oh, King Taco, they're both about the same.
Todd, please stop setting fire to the couches. It's getting too smoky up here.
Beardeds you have to feed every day.
Oh my goodness. That Danish ain't sweet. Silver sent you an email, Robbie.
All right, Silverheart.
Yeah. So the guy Dinesh, who is I find it very strange that Tug's involved and now they're going after Dinesh. Why wouldn't they care who the person is that they're involving in this? Because these witnesses are going to be deposed if in fact they get involved in this. And if you want someone like Tug who's, proven that he's gone after certain narratives and purposely done things and lied and didn't care. And then you have someone like Dinesh who goes after people as if he's some type of private eye and even pushes them to the brinks of unaliving themselves and stalking people. And yet he's in court for something that has to do with him being on OnlyFans and not getting a specific form filled out. Consent form filled out. And that's pretty creepy also. So, yeah. I think Jerem likes this stuff. See, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's whatever his narrative. He doesn't care who he brings, involved in his cases. But that's some shady shit. But, it's funny. It kind of falls along the lines of his, whole sex issue that he has going on. That he would, birds of a feather. Maybe Dinesh knows how to put the woo in Wooster. Who knows? Okay. Thank you, Ray. Didn't Jerem say Richard was served on courthouse steps, not inside? Yes. Yes, he did. Yeah. Richard would know if he was served, and why would he lie? Because if he was served, they have to put the process, they have to file it with the court.
Richard's looking forward to it.
Yeah, Richard's not trying to hide from him. So, we don't need swimmers if you know what I mean. Yeah. It's crazy, guys. I'm just, if Jerem didn't want this stuff, then Jerem shouldn't have became a public figure. Or better yet, he should have just stuck to, all that history that George talked about the other night. He should have stayed with all that. But no, he wanted drama and controversy, and I guess he got it. Eventually, it only took 2 years, right?
You had a better thing going with Google Preferred and doing storage units.
He did, right? I was looking last night at the difference in the videos, the viewership, and you can literally tell at what time of the year, let's just say, that his videos went down. Oh my God. He did it to himself. He absolutely did it to himself. And the truth is in those views, Robbie, because those storage unit videos, they don't get the amount of views that this Otter Creek story gets. Like the FBI last night, him putting the FBI in there got him so many more views. It's absolutely
because he said FBI in his title.
Yeah. You could see that. You knew that if you were on the live, because he hasn't been able to break 9,000 people in his chats in a long time. And he broke it last night with that FBI thing.
Yeah, you use FBI, use CIA, use Secret Service, use cops called, cops on scene.
Yeah. God, I really hope we raise that money fast. Because the second it's there, guys, you have no idea. I can't say anything. It's just wow. It's gonna happen. Gonna be done. Teaser Robbie's holding it for me, but good thing is I have to be in Miami by mid-June to get my 812 and put 500 miles on it to test it before Gumball this year. What's Gumball?
Gumball Rally. Race
What's
across
that?
the United States.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What kind of a race? Is it like a Caddyshack thing?
Caddyshack. What do you know? It's
Not Caddyshack. Cannonball Run.
like, yes.
Gotcha. You like Caddyshack. I knew it was a C. It was all those old guys. Because the haters can F themselves, it's a goal time. Oh, okay. We have 2 more we need for our goal to do this giveaway. I forgot about the giveaway. Lisa, did you notice Martha George didn't add those fake coin purchases into her storyline? Yeah, I kind of did. Why is that? Are they still on? Yeah, I think they're still on there. Those I didn't watch. I must say I did not watch those. It is Gumball 3000 International. Huh.
So 3,000 miles, Kyle?
So it's from what? Like New York to Los Angeles? Where is it going? Where does it start? Where does it end? I thought she brought up some cash thing, but I didn't know if I heard the coins. I can see Suzanne dressing up as a nun and getting in a Camaro and driving cross country in a race. You know, the way they did that. Same day. Yeah, one more. Let's go. I could just see her getting dressed up and doing it. Suzanne seems like she'd be up for anything. Like she'll do it. Strictly. Nice, we did it. Go. Whoop whoop. All right, so we have to. Let me see. Let's do.
Hashtag FBI.
Let's see. FBI what? Give me something else with FBI.
FBI called.
Okay. Okay. Now let's share it. There we go, guys. Here's your hashtag for the giveaway tonight. FBI called. Good night, Matza. Becky, great live tonight. Thank you, Becky. Oh, FBI hats. That would have been good. Yeah. Oh, I missed something. Hold on. Is it showing? It's not showing.
Nope.
Oh. Oh, okay. I missed those chats. Why is it not showing? There we go. Boom. There you go. Sorry, guys. Wasn't showing. All right, that was weird. I totally missed that. Why did that not show up?
No.
But
Oh.
So tomorrow is Tuesday. That's gonna mess up my week. How do you spell FBI? I don't know. I can't even spell the word convincer. I guess I can on thumbnails. I just can't, do it on, titles. Yeah. Y'all know I have a messed up keyboard. Yes, I'm blaming the keyboard because I have a messed up keyboard. And I didn't notice it. Because trust me, I'm a very good speller, actually. Oh, it is Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver.
Hello, Dreamweaver.
Happens to the best of us. Yep. That means I got a messed up stream. Well, you'll be happy to know, King Paco, that I'm changing this area around and the stream deck will be connected. Lindsay, you need to redo your hashtag.
Lisa, check your email. It says.
All right, hold on. Oops. We have an obsessed fan in Ireland over there trying to cause problems and attacking. Again, this person is going to find themselves answering to authorities over there. So.
It's John Cook's birthday. Happy birthday, John Cook.
Yeah, it is now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, John. Is he in here? I know his shows. I don't know where I saw him.
What time is it?
Dumbo in the USA is still around, but no more timed events. But I did do 2 of those. It was so much fun. That's got to be fun. I'd love to do that. Yeah, they're trying to go after Richard.
$12.39.
Yep.
Oh, Irene.
Yep. Is she from Northern Ireland or South Ireland? Do you know? I have the information because I have her local authority contact information. So I can let you know. I have it in my email. I got it for all the peeps over there on the Facebooks. Yeah. It's interesting that group is still there considering they know who all those anonymous posters are. I guess they're still working on it. Palama. Yes, I saw it's there. GR, I just didn't read it yet, but I saw it's there. How many we got? We got 79. 79.
No, but hurry up because I'm going to bed.
All right, guys, hurry up and get your hashtags in before we can. Oh yeah, it's 12:41. We're gonna do this before we go. We'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Our lawyers and their lawyers sitting by the fire. Awesome, Dreamweaver. My favorite sitting by the fire. Oh my God, that's gonna be in my head. Shit. Hey now. Did you get the printer yet? Yes, Tree of Life, I did. I'm going to have it delivered there, to Michelle's. And then Marla can get it from there. Unless, where is Chris? I didn't see Chris tonight.
He was in there earlier. He's sleeping now. They got to be here in the morning.
Oh, okay. I need them to stop by on their way home. Okay.
Good luck. They're always so tired. They're not going to go all the way up there and then.
What do you mean all the way up there? It's on their way home.
No, it's not. They go.
Yes, it is. If I was coming from your house and was going there, I would pass my area. Yeah.
No, you don't. They come through.
Get off, I bang a right, take a mile or two down, and then, yeah.
Oh my God, you're crazy.
I'm not crazy. I know how they go there.
There's
I'm on
Raw
the
Dog.
way to your house. There he is. Chris, I need you to
You're
stop by
not,
my house tomorrow.
you're not on the way.
Does Gabe lie hot and spicy, or does he lie hot and spicy? Hold on a second.
Gabe does not like hot and spicy.
Actually, he does like hot and spicy.
No,
However,
Gabe does not.
well, according to your hot and spicy, no. But Gabe does like hot and spicy. I'm the one that doesn't like hot and spicy. But he likes sour candy. And hot and spicy. I want to say yeah, but his stomach's been giving him problems. So would he choose it at the moment? Probably not. He'd go for the sour first. Why? We would go back through Inverness and then Dunelin. That's a hike.
Kendra does King Paco. I just run it.
I was crazy once they put me in a room full of rats. Happy belated birthday, Aussie Tina. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Who likes hot peppers? We have at least 7 different types that are doing well. Way more than I can use.
Hello.
Oi, oi. I didn't get it out to you last night. You left. Gabe the Candyman has back-to-back packages coming, Miss Lisa. Wednesday package might get spicy. Oh my goodness. You guys treat him so well. He literally calls them his candy dealers. He ran out of Pop Rocks, but he still has some other candy. So he's like, I haven't run out yet, but I'm running low. But he has no more Pop Rocks. He's eating the hell out of those things.
I would love to, but my insurance would be way too high.
I'll see where Gabe is. Maybe we'll ride down there. But I have a box for Michelle. I got a box for Marla. And I have stuff for Mimi. So, what's his go-to candy? He likes the sours. Right now he's been on
I love hot peppers.
Kick. He likes Snickers. He was always a Snickers buff. So as far as chocolates, Snickers, Reese's, but he likes a lot of sour candies. But he loves sweet tarts. Sweet tarts are his thing. But yeah. Oh, happy birthday to your mom, King Paco. He likes charmed sour balls. Yep. Lisa, you said you're still sending one out early in the month, right? Yes. I'll send you some by every.
Happy belated birthday, Aussie Tina.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. What sweets do you like? I like Reese's Pieces, peanut butter cups, Hershey's Kisses, and Three Musketeers. Those are my 3 candies that I go for. At least I heard the firefighters left a package for me at your place. They did.
You're welcome.
Excuse me?
Happy birthday, King Paco's mom.
Okay, and I didn't bitch. Nope, you did not. No, but yours, you actually won yours in the next month anyway. Anyone remember those giant sweet tarts from the 70s and not the chewy kind?
Yeah.
Giant sweet tarts.
Yep.
The big fat ones, but they're thin, but they're big. Is that the ones you're talking about?
They were giant sweet tarts.
I'm not sure if they're the same thing. Oh, whatchamacallits. My favorite candy though, like ever, especially like going to the movies since I was little, were always Goobers. I love chocolate covered peanuts. Oh, I can't do Jawbreakers. Get ready to pay the price. They've been talking too much trash. I don't care. What more can they do? I don't have a record. I don't have, I don't care what they say.
Yeah, Lisa's too young to remember those.
Not thin, just big. Oh, yeah, I guess not. Gobstoppers, yum. Gabe likes gobstoppers. If you order melted candies, request ice pack or they will melt. Trust me. Oh, yeah. I love those two double stuff Oreo. Yeah, we got some double stuff inside. Do your sweet tarts have the love saying on them? No.
No.
Bottle caps. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen bottle caps in I don't know how long. I remember those, and I am younger than Lisa. The big sweet tarts. Why am I don't know.
They're just big sweet tarts, dude. They were big. They were the size of probably a nickel.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking something bigger than that.
Those were big sweet tarts.
What are those peanuts? Like the caramel, roasted peanuts. God, we used to get them in the city all the time. Yeah, Valentine's.
They weren't much bigger. They were smaller than a quarter, but bigger than a nickel.
Yeah, the ones I was thinking about, they were thinner, but they were probably the size of a quarter, if not a little.
No, these are the same size, and they were just giant sweet tarts.
I think somebody sent Gabe one of them. Flutter, did you send Gabe one of them? Oh, they came out with Big Chewy. Do you and Gabe like to try new things to eat or drink? Sure, Gabe does more than me. Yes! Thank you, Christine. I was thinking about Nico wafers.
Nico wafers.
Yes.
Were they really the size of a silver dollar? I mean, a $50.
Nico wafers?
No.
Oh.
Because I remember them when I was a little kid. I didn't think I could fit those in my mouth. They were smaller than that, Strictly.
Strictly still eats Nico wafers. Gabe got Smarties from Flutter. Yep. I remember Bit of Honey.
The chewy ones, that's, yeah.
He likes Tootsie Rolls, too. American chocolate sucks. Cadbury's all the way. Boston burned beans? I like the roasted peanuts that you get on the, with the Dirty Dog. The carts in Manhattan. Whoppers. What were the caramel on a stick called?
God, what were those called? They had a yellow wrapper.
Sugar Daddies. I remember Sugar Daddy. You guys are going to give me diabetes. Slowpoke. The flavored Tootsie Roll is a bomb.
Ugh.
All right, how many we got? We got 98. Let's get two more. Who remembers the Pollywaffle? I don't know about the Pollywaffle. I need to go brush my teeth.
All right.
Good and plenty.
You better draw because I'm going to bed.
All right.
Unless you're going to wait till after I go to bed.
No, I'll do it. Everybody, I'm going to draw. Get your hashtags in quick. Here we go. What is a polywaffle?
I don't know, but
When I
You
first
literally-
met, you gave me like Charleston shoes. But what?
you got 3 minutes and I'm going to bed.
I am, Robbie. Sheesh. All right, we're at 100. Here we go. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Haha. Dusty, Pat, Flutter, Jennifer, Terry, Black Widow, Pam, Boudica, Dusty, Old Dude, Kim, Donna, Nell, Todd. Todd wins it.
Todd wins it.
Todd gets it. That's weird. We got like some sync thing going on. We did a Tug Boy, Tisk Tisk, and then Tug Life one. And now we did Todd. His video played. Now Todd wins. Congrats, Todd. Todd, I do not believe I have your shipping address. So I think you need to
Congratulations, bro.
your shipping address. Congratulations. All right. Todd Jazomski. Writing it down. Lisa, can you post a link again for MP? Yes, I can. Hold please. Give me 1 sec. All right. Back to the screen. Congrats, Todd. Guess what, guys? Todd's off the loser's couch. So I guess, no more fires, no more girls. No more telling him to stop. Todd booted from couch. No more fires. Yay. Lori hose him down. Congratulations, time. Now you can stop setting fire to the sofas. Yeah. Ringer. That was funny. All right, party pooper.
I got to be up early.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I got stuffs to do. I got calls to make. Did I post it in there again? Let me post it again. Hold on. Where is it? Bam. All right. So, all right, guys. So we will be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. And I want to thank you all for hanging out with us, especially welcoming back Leslie. We'll be here Monday nights with Leslie, and we'll be talking about a whole bunch of law type stuff, fun stuff. Leslie's a lot of fun. So with Lisa, what's your email at 2leespod@gmail.com. So definitely check out our mods channels, and prayers to everybody who needs them and those who think you don't. And we'll see you again tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, same time, same place.
Good night, everybody.
What?
God bless. Prayers. I say good night, everybody. God bless and prayers. And ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.
Alrighty,
Bye.
guys. Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye. Bye. 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 Bye.